Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. We have a very full show for all of you. We're back on my channel for the second week in a row. We're joined, as always, by Jarrett Lombard, the iceberg. I don't know which way he is. I think he's this way, right here. And this week joining us, because Danny B could not make it, we have Joseph Lombard, a.k.a. N2SC4R on YouTube. Thanks for being here, Joseph.
Happy to be here. I'm always happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for having me substitute Danny. Danny, I'll make you proud tonight, I promise, okay?
We need you to talk about Alex Bowman and make fishing references in every
Dude,
segment.
I'm cool with that.
But we appreciate you being here. We have a very full show. Of course, if you saw the title of this episode, Aric Almirola, NASCAR Cup Series playoff driver, will be joining us. Well, we actually talked to him a few hours ago, but you'll be seeing that interview here roughly a little before 9 p.m. Eastern time, so almost to halftime. So we're going to start today's episode by talking a lot about Daytona, the final regular season race, and all that great stuff. We're also going to talk about some throwback schemes and of course, preview not only Darlington this weekend, but the entire NASCAR playoffs. I think, Joseph, I don't mean to put you on the spot here. Well, you have a couple hours, I guess, but we're also going to be giving them our championship picks and championship 4 picks tonight. So start thinking about that if you hadn't given it thought already.
Plenty of time.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. But do we just want to roll on with Daytona, the super speedway spectacle that was Saturday night? William Byron gets his first win. What do you think of that race, Jarrett? We'll start with you.
I loved it. Granted, I was there in person, same with Joseph.
That's right.
But
y'all both were there. That's right. Goodness.
Both were there.
We were both there, but we didn't get to meet up because we were cutting it close. Went to Cracker Barrel before the race.
Nice.
So we didn't get to meet up, but we might at a certain race coming up. I don't know if we're supposed to spoil that or not. But Daytona, I loved it, man. I was having a blast watching that race. There never really was a dull moment. Even when they were sort of train, racing, you knew that either pit stops were coming up or you knew that like one of the groups was trying to save gas when the other one was trying to catch up. I'll tell you what, the most underrated part of that race was watching Jimmy Johnson and the Chevys come back from like 38 seconds back.
That was pretty cool.
You could see on the backstretch the difference of speed. Like you could tell what group was trying to save gas and what group was just hauling
I don't
gas.
know. I don't know how many times I went like this, like after the leaders go by, I went like this. I'm just like looking back and forth, like seeing them just shrink that lead. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there in person just to see that more on my own. So, like on my own, like I was looking at like the leaderboard that refreshes every lap, and I'd see like 28 seconds, 27 seconds, and like doing the math in my head. They're going to get there. That was really fun. Fun to see, even just watching on TV, but being in person, I bet that was that much better. I want to ask you guys this, because on TV they said roughly 20,000 people in the stands. I know Daytona seats over like around 100,000 usually. It looked like more than 20,000.
It looked more.
Not saying that's necessarily good or bad. I mean, but right. I don't know. From the ground, what do you guys think of being in that atmosphere? Was that bigger or more than the All-Star race at Bristol a few weeks ago, or is it kind of still a little weird?
I'd say it's about the same, but I thought Bristol had more than the 20,000 they were letting on. I honestly did when I was there, but Daytona, like I was like looking back and forth, and I think at one point my girlfriend's like how many people are supposed to be here? And I'm like, they're saying 20,000. But this does not look like it's like a fifth full. It felt like it was probably a third to half full almost. I mean, it honestly felt that way, and especially when you heard the crowd noise, like it was a lot. The crowd was a lot louder than Bristol, which surprised me. Wow. I mean, anything that had to do with Jimmy Johnson, that crowd was cheering their heads off. I like when
he crashed.
Okay, not that.
Harsh fans.
I don't know if they showed it. Well, no, when that happened, everyone was like, oh my God, no.
Oh, everybody around me was so bummed, and just, I was too.
Any Viking fans in the chat will know this call. I did my best Paul Allen inadvertently. I just like, no, it can't end like this. But like, when he was, I don't know if they showed it on TV, but when he was on pit road after the crash and he started that thing up and got rolling, the entire place went nuts.
Oh, like, it was nuts.
That's cool.
It was definitely like I'd say before the race, I didn't think the atmosphere was all that buzzed up at all. It felt kind of dull almost at the track, but like once once the drivers and the teams and the cars were like all lined up on the grid, it was like all of a sudden you're like, it's on. It's on right now. Like these drivers are not taking any prisoners. They're going for broke in this one. But I loved it. And granted, maybe in person and missing the 500, other than the first 20 laps, might have swayed my vote a little bit. But I loved it. I had a blast there.
Daytona, whether it's the 500 or any race there, it's the atmosphere is just always unbelievable. You just get that feeling in your chest that, wow, I'm here in Daytona. You're about to see racing at Daytona. It's just an incredible experience. But no, I had a great time. I mean, under the circumstances, and the crowd was more than 20,000. There's no way. It looked like 30,000, maybe 35 around there. But but once Jared said the cars got on the grid, it was go time. The adrenaline was up. I even was feeling it because it's the regular season finale. So the adrenaline's up. Like, oh man, this is it. These guys are going to be aggressive. You're going to see some bold passes, and we saw a lot of that on Saturday night for sure. But the crowd was amazing too. Just excited every time Johnson made these aggressive moves too. I mean, we saw Johnson make these moves that we've never seen in so long, and because holy crap! I mean, I had a good time Saturday. I wish the whole group was able to go, but I just always loved Saturday night racing at Daytona. I mean, that was the first time I've ever done that, and it just didn't disappoint. So, great race overall. Congrats to William Byron. I was wanting him to win for quite a while, and to see that in person, it was phenomenal. And now that race just gets you ready for the playoffs for sure.
Definitely. And we haven't even really talked about the winner yet, but yes, William Byron getting his first career win. Took him 2.5 years, but I mean, he's run so well this year. He's been consistent. He's had some chances in recent months, but it was really great to see him get the win. And what better night to do it? A night where he came in the last driver on the playoff grid. You knew he was going to be playing defense on Jimmy Johnson. And honestly, before that final crash, William Byron wasn't looking like he was in a great spot. Jimmy Johnson raced his way up into the top 5 or 6. Byron was kind of stuck in 10, 12. He and Benedetto were kind of vying for that last spot at that point. But of course, the final crash happened, final restart happened, and William Byron made the big move to get the win. So, I mean, I thought it was a long time coming. This is the first time Chad Knaus has won a race since 2017. This is the first time the 24 has won a NASCAR race since 2015, a Cup Series race, I said, since 2015. I mean, a lot of cool things to see. I think everyone loves seeing the 24 car in victory lane at Daytona in front of fans. I thought it was extremely special. But what do you guys think of William Byron getting his first win just a couple days after appearing on this show, mind you? So I don't think we should take credit for his win, but I think we also should take all the credit for his win because we're magical like that.
Well, I mean, Bowman's performances went up since being on, so maybe we have to touch. I don't know.
That's true.
And now that Almirola is going to be on this week, he's going to win Sunday night. Watch.
If it happens, I'm just saying.
With like his good luck charm, or like the driver's good luck charm. Whoever we bring on, they're going to win the following weekend.
Yeah. William Byron in the chat there says you get all the credit. Thank you, fake William Byron, but we'll take that as gospel. Thank you.
When it comes to Byron winning, though, it was like they were showing DiBenedetto, Johnson, and Byron on the board. Like every time one of them made a pass, they were showing the way the points were changing. So like they were the main focus of the night on the video boards for the most part. Overall, like, I gotta say, I was actually kind of impressed, too, because of how forgive me, I didn't remember everything. I was so in it in the moment, but it seemed like about a lap and a half to go, like, he wasn't leading and coming down the backstretch, I mean, everything is a blur to me, man. It was nuts. I can't.
Yeah.
I will say, though, winning like that in the clutch, especially, like, last chance, that, like, because, like, with Johnson back out there, Byron gets spun on the backstretch or in turn 3. It's over.
It might be different. Yeah.
Because, like, there's so many other drivers that were crashing at that point. Because Johnson, I think, finished, like, 17th, didn't he? Like, 17th or 18th? So, like, it wasn't over even with him in the lead coming out of 4. Like, if something happens, Byron's season could be done with just an ill-advised block. I mean, look what happened to Tyler Reddick and Kyle Busch.
Oh, my God.
That one... that was fun to hear. the crowd was both cheering for Busch.
I was
crashing.
on that side of the track, and let me just tell you, not even close to being clear. Holy crap. No offense to Reddick. I love the guy, but that was a rookie. Big rookie.
He owned up to it afterwards, but
he did own up to it.
Did y'all
give him that?
At the track, or maybe afterwards, did y'all see like Newman and Jones and some of the other drivers sort of laying into Reddick a little bit?
Did they show the videos on TV?
They showed.
Yeah, no, they showed.
Yes, I don't know if they showed the same ones, but they showed some videos on TV. Yes.
They did.
They were serious. They were.
Yeah, what they showed on the board was NBC's interviews with the drivers and stuff. So yeah, we got to hear some of that. The only one that was calm is Kurt Busch.
Yeah, the Busch brothers, both of them, Kurt and Kyle, seem to be the most like, it is what it is. Whereas Eric Jones was, saying he was in over his head.
Kyle Busch pretty much at this point in the season, the way his season's gone, it's like, it's whatever. I'm not surprised by anything.
When he said it's still 2020, I'm immediately like, he said it.
He said it times 2.
How'd the crowd react to that one? Were they like?
The interviews more. I'll be honest. The interviews, I don't think the crowd was even paying attention. Like
never mind.
There really wasn't too much. Well, yeah. I mean, like I was too, but I mean, we're not exactly normal fans. But it was more just the action on track that people were just going nuts about, or when Jimmy crashed, I heard a collective no out of the crowd.
Oh, it was around me. There were people like Johnson fans. There were a few Johnson fans around me, and also I saw a couple of them throwing their hats across the aisle and stuff. They're just very upset Johnson fans. I don't blame them, and I mean everybody. It was just everybody just. I saw him crash. My hands were on top of my head. I was just so bummed out. I'm like, dang it,
I sat down in my seat for a second, after once the caution was called and they went to red. I sat down like, no.
It's like, well,
I was like, I was hurt. I hadn't been that hurt by someone crashing.
I was hurt.
I'd say since Junior crashed at Daytona in 2017, that was the last time where I felt like someone punched me in the gut when I saw somebody crash out there.
But then after a minute or so, I saw them fix up the car. I'm like, you know what? It's not over yet. You never know. I mean, Byron could pull a bad block, wreck himself. The bad dad could have problems. It's not over. Just keep a positive attitude. But then, that didn't happen. So.
No, I almost said the chat cheered. The crowd cheered.
The chat too.
I remember when Kyle Busch was on pit road and he drove it backwards and spun around. The chat. Got to the chat again. The crowd went nuts. The IRL chat went nuts.
Race this week? Oh no. I'm sorry. I'm terrible jokes.
Don't worry. I am too. That's why I have to be on a cussing abstinence. No, overall it was. I won't say it was it was definitely not the most amped up crowd I've ever been in. I'd say Martinsville 2015 and Michigan 2012 beat it, but for a crowd that size, I was actually surprised just how much energy there was leaving the track too. It was actually funny. We're leaving the track. So at Daytona they have those giant ass escalators.
Yeah.
They have those, and we just see people had their more masks on than Bristol. I'll give them that. But they packed onto those things like sardines. My girlfriend and I are leaving, and it's just us two going. We're the only two going down the stairs. There's a line at the escalator.
Oh my god!
I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah,
we sat on the third level.
I took the stairs.
Yeah, it was quicker.
I took the 4. I was up in the 4th, and there was nobody. It was barely not even anybody on the stairs. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go down the stairs. It's gonna be quicker. And it's probably the same people were still at the top by the time I got down there. It's like, come on, guys, get your exercise.
You think they'd want to stretch out after sitting down for 3 hours? I guess that means they were standing up the whole time.
For a few months, come on, guys.
But overall, leaving the track, there was this just energy in there.
Oh yeah,
a buzz.
I agree.
There was a buzz in the air. I mean, even crossing across the street, going across the Speedway Boulevard, going through the souvenir areas, the stands themselves, even the parking lots. People were just, I mean, they were like, "Did you believe when he did this? Can you believe when Boyer blocked Johnson?" Which I didn't see a problem with it in person.
I didn't see a problem with it.
I see like Twitter going nuts about it and like Clint Boyer.
It's just Jimmy Johnson.
#1.
I mean, it was a fair block, but I mean, it was aggressive. It was aggressive.
It was a fair block.
If it led to a wreck, we would be saying the opposite. But it was two professionals, two veteran drivers.
Exactly.
Work.
I do find it funny that he did that because wasn't it Clint Boyer who ended up causing the wreck with Austin Dillon last year in this race? That from a block.
Yeah, both of them, let's say, caused. They were both driving like maniacs in that corner, so they both kind of did.
The same exact spot. Like I noticed that in person. I'm like, wow, Boyer's being really bold for literally being on the other end of that a year ago. But
yep.
I don't know if you can tell. Like I thoroughly enjoyed my trip to the races.
It was no, it was a good time.
Yeah, no, that sounds like fun. I haven't been to a Daytona race since the Clash in whatever it was, 2016, I think. So I got to get back to Daytona sometime.
2021.
That was a great race back in 2016. I don't even remember. Hamlin won, I think. But no, I got to get to Daytona again, especially with this rules package. I think I speak for everyone watching when I say that NASCAR's current super speedway rules package is easily the best of the Gen 6 era, maybe the best in a long time. I don't want to put a specific year on it because I'll make someone angry, but it's one of the best super speedway packages we've had in a while. It's put on a couple good shows in a row.
I'll go as far to say that it's the best one since like the 2000 to late 2000 to about I'd say 2007 Gen 4 packages. Like I would say it is the best super speedway package. I think the difference right now is that a lot of these drivers, in my opinion, especially the younger drivers, I don't think are as good of super speedway racers as we had in that era. And I think that's why there's so many more crashes than we remember in those other ones. Because, I mean, go ahead.
No, what are the speeds too? Because even now that they've slowed down a bit, they're still hitting 200 in a pack pretty consistently. What were the speeds in the mid 2000s? Wasn't it a little slower?
It was usually between 190 and 200. It's just like maybe 5 miles an hour slower.
Okay, I thought maybe that would like even just 5 or 10 miles an hour difference. Like that's what they talked about when they switched the rules because they were going 205 in a pack versus back in like the car tomorrow for the first couple of years they were going like 193 in a pack. That's a 10-12 mile an hour difference. That's huge. But so I don't know how. Yeah, so maybe that's.
I think that might be part. I think that might be part of it too.
But I agree with you. I think there's less experience in general in the Cup Series today. You got a lot younger drivers. The average age of a Cup Series driver is going down, and I think just naturally that's going to lead to more experience and more crashes.
And it seems like I don't mean to keep digging at younger drivers because I think they make it more entertaining when they don't know what they're doing as much.
A little bit, yeah.
To a degree.
To an extent. We don't want like Busch clashes from this year every Daytona race, but like you expect a crash here and there.
I don't want like a Kevin LePage kind of deal every week.
No. But
it seems like a lot of these younger drivers are trying more to pass than to draft with people around them, and that's I think what's causing a lot of wrecks. Like they're taking it 4 and 5 wide. Like there was that 4 wide pass I think Bubba on the top side, which I think in my opinion that was a whole racing deal. Like people are getting mad about drivers and this. It's like, dude, they got really close together. Daytona's more narrow than Talladega. Like it would have worked at Talladega. But I think a lot of them are like, it's just the impatience of a lot younger drivers, drivers that are like 22, 23 compared to back then, the young drivers are like 27, 28, 29. I think there is a difference just in age when it comes to that, not even talking about drivers themselves. But like I said, I think this is, if we have an awesome race at Talladega and then finish off the Gen 6 era with 4 just bomb-ass awesome super speedway races, I would say that there is a conversation to be had if this is the best super speedway package ever or not. Like, and that's a lot for me to say because I love that 2000 to 2007 era,
especially as a junior fan as well. Around that same time, a lot of great runs.
I'll say I think the only thing that would make it better for me is if they do what the Fords were doing in the Xfinity race with the X pipes, so that they can get awesome sound back. Like
that was. I didn't know. I didn't know they were gonna do that, and I was just watching race. I'm like, oh my god, that sounds so good.
Briscoe did it at Talladega, and I immediately picked up. I'm like, wait a minute, did I hear what I thought I heard? And then they showed another view. I'm like, I did hear. And I think like a lot of the Fords did it this time. And there's something that I put in our podcast chat, but something that a lot of people like are overlooking is that there's X pipes on the next gen car. So I'm like,
Right now, yes, yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm not gonna guarantee it because obviously I don't know at all. But I'm just recklessly speculating here. Like that'd be pretty awesome to have the first race with it be that.
I definitely think the next gen will sound differently, though. It sounds like from the testing, it sounds a little lower in pitch, honestly, than even the current cars do. So I don't know if that'll change. We don't know what type of engine package they're going to run for the next gen yet. That could change. I think they'll sound different. I don't know if they'll necessarily have the same kind of screaming sound that the Gen 4 had and the Fords had this week, but
I don't think it will on a regular basis because even on the regular basis, you go back, like I was watching 2003, I think Texas or Atlanta, one of those ones, and it sounded just like the COT did in the Gen 6 before they started changing the package up a bit. So I don't think those ones will, but I think when you put on a tapered spacer or a restrictor plate with it, I do think I think that might get it closer. But yeah, I agree. Like even this past weekend, it didn't sound exactly like it, but it was close enough. Like it was close enough for me to be like, "Ooh, you just hit that nostalgia bone in my body."
Yeah,
yeah. Well, really quick before we kind of move on from Daytona, I wanted to highlight some of the some fun finishers from Saturday night's race. Daytona is always great because it gives some of the smaller teams a chance to run up front. Bubba Wallace, even though he made that kind of aggressive move and was sort of involved in the second big crash, or he got slammed into, he ends up with the top 5. I'm not sure, is that his first top 5 of the season? If not, it's one of his first, but that's a great finish for that team. Brendan Gaughan got an 8th place finish. Something about Brendan Gaughan, he always finds himself near the front of the field.
He was in 3rd coming off the last corner. I'm like, I didn't even know that until I watched the finish again. I'm like, oh my God, he was right there.
That's the thing. It was like the finish in person. It was just a blur because it was just how badass it was. And yes, it was Bubba Wallace's first top 5 of the year. And he now extends his season or career best season in top 10s to a 5. So. Good for Bubba.
Good for him. Also, I thought it was cool. Brennan Poole in the 15 got a top 15 finish, and Ross Chastain in the 77 finished 16th. So some pretty good runs for those teams as well. I also really want to hit on some super chats we've gotten. I'll start with Michael's because I see it right here. Thank you, Michael. Come on, I wasn't the only guy happy to see Suarez lead some laps, was I? I thought that was cool.
That was cool.
That was
yeah. And legitimately too. I mean, yeah, there's some strategy at play, but he was up in that top 10 and top 5 and commanded the lead for a good handful of laps. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then going back to the beginning, from Beast of Metal, 1989. Thank you, Beast of Metal. He says the RTA, I guess the Race Team Alliance, is a pyramid scheme. So there you go. There's that. Bup. I don't know if I said that right. Thanks for the $5. And then we've got another one from Beast of Metal, 1989. Thanks for the super chat, $10. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. He says, light a candle for Jimmy. For those heaping the majority of the blame on the officials or the virus, consider that eyesight begins to slowly diminish at age 40, which also impacts reflexes. There's plenty of theories out there as to why Jimmy Johnson hasn't run. Beast of Metal is out here giving him a medical diagnosis. The super chat. I don't know. I mean, he's not wrong. That is technically true, but who knows? I mean, Kevin Harvick's 44 or whatever it is and winning this year, so it's tough.
I won't go that far to say like that's why, but I mean, it's like even at the end of his career, even running, aside from 2014, Jeff Gordon's final like 5 or so years were good, but it wasn't like Jeff Gordon caliber, like top 3 in standings kind of thing. As people forget, I mean, in 2015 he was winless until that Martinsville win, but he still was good. And Johnson has shown flashes. It's just I think for the first time in a long time, true desperation has hit that 48 team and Johnson. Granted, it's a different team now, but our True Chief and all that deal. But I think that I think it's just over time that stuff kind of happens. So you're kind of right there. But I won't give a full prognosis on it. It's not. I don't know what's going on in Jimmy Johnson's head or how his eyes are.
Yeah.
It was good to, like Joseph, you're saying, it's like it hadn't seen him that aggressive in so long, and it was a good change of pace. He was, I don't know how they covered it on TV, but being at the track, he was the most entertaining driver to watch until Bubba was taking it 4 or 5 wide.
Oh yeah, the crowd every time Johnson was making moves was going nuts. especially, you know, towards the end of the stages, you know, the crowd really wanted him to get some stage points, just cheering him on. And what was it? Of course, lap 48 when they did that tribute with him, everybody standing up and waving them by. The crowd was loud there. That was amazing. So, I mean, it was pretty much everybody, a lot, or I would say most of the crowd was just cheering for Jimmy. It was just loud for Jimmy. It was pretty nice.
So I know it's not normal, but it's the first time in a long time, first time since the pandemic, that I can say it's felt normal at a race, like in watching a race just in general.
Yeah,
I mean, there was like
agree.
obviously beforehand with like the masks and everything was still different, but it's like once you got into the stands, it felt like just all that went away for a bit.
Yeah.
For 3, 4, however many hours it was, you know, I mean, it felt back to normal, and it was so refreshing, man. It was awesome. I'm like sitting here craving for it, and it's like they're slowly weaning me off the COVID, the new normal BS of COVID.
Yeah.
They're slowly giving me bits and pieces. But I'm just happy. I've just had such a great time.
So to kind of wrap up Daytona, what would you guys give the race? 10 out of 10. All right,
10 out of 10.
I'm with you.
Okay, yeah, same thing.
You don't have to agree. You can be like a 9.
No, I honestly, I was gonna go 9.5 out of 10. You know,
fair.
But you know what? Still close enough. It's still a pretty good race. That was fun. Hopefully,
Certainly.
Bristol provides some great racing when we go there, Jarrett.
Oh yeah. I guess we're saying it. Yeah.
Cutoff race too.
We'll be at
Remember that.
Yeah.
Cutoff race.
But you guys will be at Bristol. I don't think I'll be at Bristol, unfortunately.
Oh, Aric, come on, bro.
And that's a long drive.
Should I?
It's a thing called planes, right?
Oh, well, planes.
Planes.
Those still happen? Michael, I appreciate the super chat. Man, when Stenhouse dove to the bottom, I thought he was going to win. Stenhouse made people nervous. And you guys want to touch on this really quick? GN sends a super chat. Thoughts on the BMW tweet today? Maybe next gen. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Until I get something, I'm not going to run with it.
Yeah, I think it's just a PR move by their social media guy. I think without a doubt, there are plenty of manufacturers not currently in NASCAR that have had conversations with NASCAR. You know, I think BMW certainly had someone talk to NASCAR in recent years. I think Dodge has probably even had somebody. Honda definitely has had somebody. You know, I think there's always people talking to NASCAR leadership, but I don't think that tweet means that they have something behind the scenes in the works. I think, and you never know. A few years from now, that could definitely happen, but I don't think it's related to that tweet. But still, fun to see at least.
Maybe. Oh yeah, it's cool.
Maybe
for those who don't know, it was the Orange Cone, I think, on Twitter put a tweet out just saying like, describe NASCAR in 3 words or something like that, and like the official BMW, manufacturer, Twitter account replied with like better with BMW, and it got everybody. I mean, it's a good PR move. Good.
Good.
The way I see it is if NASCAR fans all react positively, like, whoa, look at BMW. Look, they were interested in the sport. Then maybe that actually inspires BMW leadership to be like, oh, maybe we should take an idea, look into NASCAR a little more closely. You know, it's going to be cheaper in a couple of years. Like, okay, I don't know, but
they'll come in with a money team when they eventually show up.
Maybe that's the last box that needs to be checked to get them to the racetrack finally.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right. Well, I think we wrapped up with Bristol. Sorry, or Daytona. Where are we going next?
Well, I'm just
Bristol in a few weeks.
I'll read the ratings and then just see what people thought with the poll. But 2.41 rating, 3.9 million viewers, which I think was like 300,000 or 400,000 more than the overnights, which is a surprising gain for this time of the year. Mm-hmm. And then NBC had said so far this year, excluding Kansas, because that's just midweek is so out there compared to last year, that the ratings are actually up 2%, which is surprising in my opinion, because you look across the board and just about everyone else in general has went down with COVID, especially the MLB and NBA. I think the NBA is down like 45%. I mean, it's bad.
It's inconsistent, but I think, the NBA has definitely been down. I don't know. What does hockey's ratings look like? Because you got so many sports on right now. Hockey, like the other day during the race, there was hockey, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and baseball on at the same time.
I think part of it, like with, let's say, the NBA, it's just the unusual time of year, too.
That's true.
I think it's that, and then everything surrounding the NBA right now is keeping people away, too. But, I mean, I'll take it, man. I mean, remember, last year's ratings were up like considerably, and then they just tanked in the last 4 weeks of the year. So like it's not over till it's over, but it's a good sign.
That's fair. I mean, last year's ratings weren't anything to be super excited about. Last year was kind of like the bottom, like 2018, 2019, they kind of hit rock bottom, and it looks like now maybe things are sort of at least steadying a little bit. But what this does to me is honestly that this is when a year ago when they announced the swapping kind of Indianapolis and the Coke Zero 400, this is what I was hoping for. I was like, okay, moving Indy, a dead NASCAR race, to a holiday weekend is going to boost its ratings, which it did. It got like over 1 million more viewers this year than it did last year. And because Daytona's Daytona, I don't expect this to affect Daytona's ratings too heavily. And sure enough, it doesn't look like it did. It looks like that 3.9 million is pretty similar to what it has been drawing in the summer race the last couple of years. Now, there is still the weather concerns that you guys talked about, and people continue to talk about. Daytona this year, it rained all day, basically, and leading up to it.
We were about 4. We like based on what the radar and stuff is like. We're far away from.
It was definitely skirting it. Yeah. No, it was skirting it. There was a hurricane hitting Louisiana like the same time the race was happening. So
I mean, driving down from Jacksonville, just looking over, you could see out there ominous clouds coming and lightning. I mean, the entire race, I was on the edge of my seat, for the racing itself, but also the backstretch. Lightning.
That was insane.
Everywhere. I mean,
wow, there was
like over the ocean, like out over the ocean.
Oh, I'd say even over land. I mean, it looked like
it was in land too.
It looked close, and it looked like it was getting closer as the race went on. And I'm just like, O'Donnell's sitting there, and Phelps are just like, let it go, just let it. There's 2 to go.
Just go.
Finish it.
Yeah,
finish it.
I know, because there was a couple. Go ahead, Aric.
Oh no, sorry. I don't like to spread conspiracy theories, but at one point, you guys maybe didn't see it, but NBC actually brought their cameramen in because of lightning. And I was like tweeting with some people, and they're like, "Yeah, I think their rules is the same as NASCAR. If it's within 8 miles, I think they go away." And I'm like, "We're still green, okay?"
Yeah,
so
no, because
I think NASCAR just said it was like 7.8 miles away. We'll just pretend we didn't see that one. I'm like, "Oh, okay, NASCAR."
It reminded me of Chicago.
Lawsuit waiting to happen.
I mean, when you're sitting there, like in the sense, it looks closer than 8 miles. Don't get me wrong, but there were times where I see the lightning in the back straight away, and I'm just like I'm waiting for the caution to come out because I'm like, lightning is. Are they going to throw the caution? I thought they were going to throw a couple of cautions because of it, but they never did. I'm like, all right, boys, we're still racing. Let's go. And I kind of like that,
But I will say.
But yeah, there were times it's like, lightning is round.
Going back towards like the rating stuff, I'll say the same thing I said with Indy is that the short term really good, and I'm glad that it's working. I think the big test though is 3 to 5 years. Like if it remains this way 3 to 5 years, NASCAR hit a freaking 6-run homer with it. But if it goes down, if one of the two starts going down, then they need to figure out either what to do with Indy. It's more than likely going to be Indy if either of them. Because like I said, Daytona is Daytona.
Probably.
They're definitely, they've passed the first year, and I'd say the first 2 or 3 years might be the same. It's what happens moving forward, especially if whatever they do with the format, because NASCAR says they're not going to change it, but NASCAR says a lot of things. We were supposed to have the 2021 schedule out in April, and we're sitting here in September.
Yeah.
Stuff changes. So that's my big thing. If it can work short term, good, and it seems like it's gonna. It's a matter of what it does long term, and if it's a good long term decision, good on NASCAR. I'll give them to it. I'll give them that. As stupid as I thought it was a year ago, if 2 years from now we're looking at it and it's just getting better and better, I'll give it to them. I'll admit 100% I was wrong with the long term. Short term, definitely was wrong. Long term, we'll just have to wait and see.
No, I think you're right about waiting and seeing. I'm hopeful that maybe next year, I know this year scheduling was weird, but if they can do an IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader again at Indy over July 4th weekend, that is, hopefully they're allowing fans back in close to normal numbers by then, and that will be fantastic to see. I'll go to that. I think Indianapolis going there as a spectator is overrated. And not talking about the Indianapolis 500 because that's obviously that would be amazing to see. But going to a NASCAR race in Indianapolis, I think, is not a great experience. But I would go if you get to see all that stuff, all that different types of racing all in the same week, and that would be fantastic.
I forgot what series it was. I don't know if it was like IMSA or what series it was, but they're talking about like if IndyCar stayed with a doubleheader with NASCAR that weekend, that like 1 or 2 other series might come in and like do like giant just motorsports week, every big motorsport series in America coming together. I don't know how true that is. It might just be people just like, I'm gonna put this out there and see who falls for it. But that'd be really if Roger Penske can make the Brickyard 400 weekend into the crown jewel that everyone in the media keeps trying to shove down our throat that it is. Man, I want him to run NASCAR too along with IndyCar. Go for it, man.
Just run the world.
But I'll tell you what, that first weekend for what it was and for not having fans there, it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
Should we jump in really quick, see what the people in the chat, I finally got that one right, the chat thought about the race here?
For the poll? Sure thing. This is the one week where I think the first comment, I know you get to it in a minute, is going to be positive. I have a feeling this week. Unless it's, there might be somebody crying.
Wait, okay, you meant, the bottom comment. Okay.
Yeah, the bottom. Actually, it's probably going to be negative again because I forgot Jimmy wrecked.
All right, Joseph, we started a new thing. Is it going to be positive or negative? The last comment I read, is it positive or negative? I always go down to the bottom and read it.
Oh, what is it again?
Like whoever was first, like whoever replied first to this thing. Usually, I found that they're often very negative. The first person's always like, "This race sucked," or I hate everything.
You know what? I'm gonna go positive.
Okay. If there was ever a week, it would be this week.
So, yeah. Eric, your official one still negative?
I'll stick negative because I think it's a Jimmy fan who's unhappy.
And then Joseph, yours is positive, and I'm gonna go negative because I think recently we had a positive one, so we got to have a few more negative ones before we're due.
So we're due for negative. Well, shoot.
It's one of the each of the double headers, I think, split it. So let's see. The top comment on here is from Caleb Lanou. Says Kyle Busch wrecks again. Also Kyle Busch. It's still 2020, and I realized I just went completely out of order and didn't read the actual poll numbers.
Oh, yeah. What do the people think? I didn't even stop you.
I'm amped up, man. I'm amped up. What did you think of the 2020 Coke Zero Sugar 400? 72% of you thought it was great. 19% of you thought it was good. 5% of you are milquetoast fence sitters that said it was average. 1% of you said it was below average. And 3% of you, which I assume are all Jimmy Johnson fans, said it was bad. Net negativity, 4%. Net positivity, 91%, which is one of the highest of the season. I don't think it hits Talladega levels, but it's up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think the all-time high was like 94% for the fall Talladega race. Like that's
for last year's Talladega race or this year's?
Last year's.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. Well, they're both really good. So yeah, I think either one was
good. Oh man, then that just gets me excited for Talladega.
I know we only have a few weeks. That's the one good thing about Daytona being it's like 6 weeks from now we're at Talladega.
Right. Oh my God. Should be fun.
All right, so Spencer Smith says, "R.I.P. to Aric keeps fixing his Mask Jones's playoff hopes."
Oh, I was like, me? What did I do? Yeah, Aric Jones, that was bothering me. I don't know if y'all saw, but literally it was a minute-long interview, and he adjusted his mask probably 8 times in that minute. It was hard to watch.
Let's see. The Florida man from Iowa says this guy went on the NASCAR Weekly podcast and won the race. We're lucky.
Credit to us.
It's all us. We did all the work.
Right. Well, I mean, to be fair, I wasn't here, but
no,
you know what?
You've been grandfathered in.
No, yeah. I'm part of this community, so I'm just gonna say yes. I have some credit to it.
Let's see.
So Almirola, please don't disappoint.
Rudy K says, "I don't know what to say other than this is the best race of the season." Which I think there can be a debate for. Bristol, the first Bristol race, and Talladega are up there too.
Yeah, it's in the top. This one's definitely in the top 3 or 4, I'd say.
Yeah.
Robert Burkett says, "Sad Jimmy Johnson noises," and then he has another comment right under it in all caps, "On a computer." Okay, Eric, you were the only one in here that watched it on TV. Did he say anything about a computer? Did he?
Gosh, I didn't really look for it. He definitely didn't say the famous line, he started on a computer. But he probably referenced it at some point, but I can't say I know for sure, so I don't want to speculate.
When NASCAR, the YouTube channel, uploaded the full race and stuff, I watched the last few laps of that, and I didn't hear him say anything about it. But no, I haven't gone further back, like maybe with 20, 15 laps to go. I don't know if he said anything then.
Someone said he did after the race.
Oh my God.
They had to fill time in the post-race show. They ran out of things to say.
Gotta give a friendly reminder.
I was thinking I might make it up after the show, but someone should make a Rick Allen drinking game. Like
a bingo card
I
kind
think
of
you
thing.
could.
Yes.
Yeah, you could. You
Yes.
could. Like, yeah, you could. Let's see. Yo Moss says Brendan Gaughan has more top tens than Danica Patrick. Now I'd have to double check that, but I
Ooh, is
wouldn't
that
be
true?
surprised.
I
You
can
might be
see
right.
that. I think
Chat,
that's
fact
right.
check for us. Fact
Oh
check for
no,
us.
that's funny. He's
Let's
got
see.
2 this year. No, did he finish top 10 earlier this year?
Daytona, didn't he?
I think he did. I don't remember.
Let's see.
Anyway, this is the one I hearted this one because this one made me laugh the hardest. Need for Speed 5353 says, I got so mad that I was yelling in a man's voice, I'm a girl. I like the twist on the stereotype comment though. I'm screaming like a girl. I like that. Oh god, that one made me laugh way harder than it probably should have. But let's see.
That's funny.
SV001 says, my fellow gamer William Byron has won.
There's your computer reference.
On a computer.
Wow, is Danica Patrick not on Racing References? I don't.
You spell it right?
Pretty
Wow.
sure she is.
Don't
Don't put a space after the name. It messes up with that.
Yeah, probably.
Evan Necula, a longtime viewer, says, hey Iceberg, I lost a pen, so could I borrow one? I think I made a joke on Twitter about
The Noah Gregson pen thing?
no, the Austin Cindric thing.
Oh.
Yeah,
I said,
okay,
maybe if
so-
he tweeted pen, he would have been better.
So Brendan Gaughan has 8. Patrick has 7.
Wow. How many starts does Brendan Gaughan have?
Dun,
I didn't
dun.
see that. Let me.
How many starts? Yeah, just
I would
read off the
assume more,
starts.
maybe.
I don't know, because he did a lot of part-time, but Danica had, like, what, 5
Yeah,
or 6
but
full-time seasons?
She was 5 full time, I think. Yeah.
We're talking about a whole career, right?
Yeah.
Whole career.
Yeah. Hurry up, Kapir.
I really want to know this.
I want to see what the chat's putting
All
right
right.
now.
Well, okay. Well, 66 for Brendan Gaughan. Wow, really? 66 races for Brendan Gaughan in Cup Series?
He
Wow.
has 8 top 10s. Dude,
I
he's
could have
the
sworn
GOAT.
he had more than that. I don't know why.
He did one full-time season, I think, in 2004. That's it.
2004, yeah, it was a full.
That long ago. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
because
hilarious.
he had a badass
Brendan Gaughan,
interview
the
at
GOAT.
Talladega.
Brendan
that
Gaughan's
is-
the GOAT.
How many stars
That's-
does Danica have?
It's probably close to 200.
Well, I think I saw someone say 191. Yeah.
Oh my god. Jam. I mean, granted, he did a lot of those top 10s at plate races. Let's not lie, but it's still kind of funny.
Wow.
Have you found the first comment yet?
Jesus, I thought I got through them all. They left like I think 300. Oh, Aric M left the lyrics, so this ain't the end of me. So I know Danny's watching, so good vibes, Danny. Jesus Christ, how many comments are there?
People are
Jared, you're
talkative.
pretty popular, man.
I
Jason
think it was
Jeffrey, Slick Bill Byron. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna read the rest of that. Sorry,
Yeah,
man.
don't do that.
I read a lot. Okay, so Eric, you said negative. Joseph, you said positive. I said negative. Chat, what do you think? Is it negative or positive?
Very
I know.
positive.
Now we wait for the 1 second delay. Negative or positive? I'm really hoping that my chat didn't freeze, as there's always one fly in here. Okay, there's a positive in there. There's lots of negatives.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Lots
Well,
of
we
negatives.
people like to talk about the negatives,
Danica
right?
Patrick is the GOAT. That's also a negative.
Yeah, that please.
Sorry.
Negatory. From Super
Sorry,
Pro
Jesus.
Gaming 2016, YT Alt number 2. Very catchy name, bud. Says, horrible way to end the season.
Is that really what he said?
Yep.
Oh, that's it.
Negative.
That's it. All right.
Someone needs to clip that Eric going negative.
Negative.
Negativity. Yeah, I told you it'd be an upset Jimmy Johnson fan. I don't blame him.
Wow.
I don't blame him.
I mean, yeah.
That was the poll. We didn't break any records. We just got about 8,000 votes, so we're just under the record.
I
but-
mean, I'm not surprised it was a negative comment, but like that was it. Like I thought it was more.
Even a good negative.
Horrible
It's just
way
like-
to end the season. Like, come
Horrible
on,
way
dude,
to
you gotta
end
have more than that.
Show.
Well, maybe there's next week.
I just
Yeah, there's
realized
also-
we spent 45 minutes on Daytona. That's how much there was to talk about.
There really was. Here, we'll get to the lightning round in a second. And then, of course, the Aric Almirola interview will be coming up shortly, right around the top of the hour here. But really quick, I do have to hit on a few super chats because we got some big super super chats from people. Thank you all for the support. Irvin, thank you for the $10, Irvin. Willie B wins in contract extension. Good news. My only concern is Liberty University with recent scandal investigation. Prepare a backup sponsor like Pepsi or Frito-Lay's.
There's a funny ass comment you'll like, Aric. It says, it's from, in the chat, it's from UK Forever 95. It says, getting the COVID test back. Aric cheers. Negative.
That's good. That's very funny. I like that. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the Liberty stuff. I don't know what all is going on over there. But yeah, if he loses that main sponsor, if they end up pulling out NASCAR in a significant way here, I'm sure that is would be an impact on his future. But he did just sign a 2-year extension, so he'll be around for at least a couple seasons. Hopefully he can short some things up. Beast of Metal, 1989, $20. Dude, thanks for the support tonight. While it wouldn't shock me if they ignored strikes at the edge of the 8 mile, we're talking about lightning, at the edge of the 8 mile bubble, the official range where they pull cameramen from elevated positions is 20 miles, which I think is the larger bubble on the radar that TV uses. That may be true. I've talked to like 2 people on Twitter who seem to think it was similar to what NASCAR is running, but they very well might do it at 20 miles as well, because they got those big heavy metal cameras as sense. Well. So it wouldn't shock me, but thanks for the super chat, Beast of Metal. Thank you for the support and the information. I think it just thundered where I'm at. Rhino Productions.
Heavy metal cameras.
Oh, shoot.
Very good. Rhino Productions, thanks for the super chat. If Hamlin or Harvick doesn't win the championship, does that really put this format under fire? And references the big 3 not winning in 2018, Gordon winning or not winning in 2014. I mean, it is kind of the nature of the format. I don't think the format's absolutely perfect in a year like this, but my argument for 2018 is that Joey Logano had the best numbers in the 10 race playoffs that year of the big 3. He had the best average finish. I think he had the most top 5s. He had like 2 wins. I think he had 2 wins in that during the playoffs that year. So I don't think the format's perfect, but I also don't think it's entirely flawed. But yes, if Harvick or Hamlin doesn't win this year, it depends on who wins it and how they do in the playoffs. But certainly, that would be something to talk about. I think that would definitely scrutinize the format a little bit. Derek Cope, thanks for the $2. The iceberg greater than the Titanic. The Titanic. The iceberg is greater than the Titanic. I misread that.
I 100% endorse that statement. Historical precedence is on my side.
I'm just stumbling through super chats right now. But Braven, thanks for the $5. BMW to NASCAR. It's just speculation and overreaction right now, but it's something noteworthy. Yeah, we briefly addressed that. I don't think it necessarily means anything. I think it's just PR, but it'd be great if it happens one day. Nicholas Gray, thanks for the super chat. He says, congrats to Matty D making the playoffs for the first time in his career. That is fantastic. GN as well. Thoughts on the Baka Mitai, NASCAR YouTuber videos on Twitter? Good singing, all 3 of you. Is that what that meme was of us like with the face technology?
That was funny.
Yeah, that was
I wasn't
funny.
sure if I was laughing, but it was like weird. Like I wasn't sure if to be impressed by it or just like,
I thought it was
wow,
funny.
this is weird. I thought it was funny though.
And then
very impressive though.
From Flying Gator, it's all on Eric's wall. Always has been. I don't know what that means. Is that
the world is behind you?
Oh, the world is behind you.
Oh, it is. Oh, I get it.
Nice.
That's a good reference. I didn't get it at first. Yeah, I guess there it is. We're all just specks on my wall over here. I don't think I missed any other super chats, so I think we're good. I think we are all caught up there. Thank you all for the support. Really means a lot. Jarrett, do we just want to go into the lightning round next and save some of the other topics for after Almirola? How do we want to do this?
Let's get the lightning round. I unfortunately don't have the graphics, so I'm sorry to everyone who wants to see Joseph get electrocuted. Just Joseph.
Okay.
No, that's the thing. It goes on that side. So Joseph, just pretend to get electrocuted as we go about this, and we'll be good to go. So the lightning round. We got a lot of throwbacks. That came out this week because of everything being such short notice. I'm going to make an unpopular statement here. This is how it should be, in my opinion. We should have like a week or 2 where it's just tons of them all in the same time. It's not like what we have had them as, where it's like, I'm going to debut my Darlington throwback in January. And it's like, no one cares.
Yep.
So
cool.
I honestly, I like it. It hypes up the race more, in my opinion. So I'm looking right here. Ty Majeski. Someone get Dale Jr. on the phone because Ty Majeski is doing a Brewster Baker throwback, and Dale Jr. is a huge Brewster Baker fan. And then anyone else see that throwback that Chastain, I believe, is going to be running, the 77 that they unveiled?
That thing looks beautiful.
I love the numbers.
Amazing.
Bring back chrome numbers, man. Those things are so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Alfredo is going to be throwing it back to Kevin Harvick's 2006 NASCAR Busch Series 21 car. I could say Busch Series because that's what
Love
it was
that.
back then.
I like that scheme.
I love it
that's
too.
neat.
It was very
Chase
nice.
Briscoe is doing Tony Stewart's 2011 Mobil 1
Oh, that's so nice. Yes.
Clean on the 98.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what other ones, because I just brought up some others. And if I don't bring up like your guys like throwbacks you guys like
what are some of y'all's favorites from what you've seen? I obviously the Jimmy, Petty and Earnhardt one is wild. You like Kyle Busch's?
I
like
Kyle
Kyle's. I like Kyle's.
I miss that font.
I do like the font. That's the biggest difference on it, really. The rest of the scheme is similar to his current car, but no, you're right. I guess the font does win it for me.
Let's see. I'm trying to see. I'm like always looking on my plans here and seeing which ones I gotta admit, like I know the 43 always goes and does, and I like what the 43 team usually does and has like an old Petty car, Petty Blue, but it's like the one they have this year. It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah,
it ain't good.
It's funny that they're the 43 car, and so what do they throw it back to? A car that was number 6. Like okay, like you have the most iconic number in NASCAR, and you're not going to use it this year. I understand that we do get. Even I get a little tired sometimes of just Richard Petty. Every single year it's always blue. It's always STP colors, pretty much. Yeah, I get a little tired. Last year they did that great. Was it last year they did the Adam Petty throwback? Yeah, like that was fantastic.
Yeah. I love that car.
They definitely have room to be creative beyond just Richard Petty blue, colors. But this year's was kind of.
Gonna do one with them. I don't know why someone hasn't already, but do the first 43 car that Petty Enterprises ever owned, because they've got to have a picture of it somewhere, and Richard Petty was there to see it.
So sign off on it.
If it's a Lee Petty car or a Richard Petty car, do one of those ones. Like throw it back to 1949, just to be like we're like the king of NASCAR, throwing it back to having the king of throwbacks all the way back, furthest back you can go. Because he was like the only one on that team that was actually there to see it. I want something like that, man. And similar, like, if you're gonna do throwbacks, I think doing a scheme is awesome. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not ripping on anyone. Like, for instance, the Johnson stuff and the Hendrick stuff, totally get that for Johnson's last year. There's meaning to it. I think there should, or at least they should have more meaning and more fun with it overall. So, like, for instance, Denny Hamlin. I like his throwback car, but I put on Twitter earlier, they should have a Wilson volleyball, like from the movie Castaway, the way that Dale Jr. did. But there's a reason I'm saying this. This year is the 20-year anniversary of that movie. So put Wilson in the car. If he's a good luck charm, have Wilson in the car the entire playoffs until he gets out or wins it. Like, can you imagine that? That would be such a cool little thing to have. You'd be able to have the Wilson volleyball with him. It's a 20-year-old movie. I'm assuming you can just be like, hey, can we put like a red handprint with a smile on a volleyball in the car? And they're probably just going to be like, dude, you could have done that and we wouldn't even notice. Like, I hope that's something they do. Like, please do that. I would love that. I'd yell Wilson if I'd yell Wilson at my TV if Hamlin won. I'm way off track right now. Anyway, back on track. William Byron is going to be in the 24 car through 2022, and they've known for weeks from what Rick Hendrick had said, along with the fact that Rick Hendrick has also said that he knows which driver is going to be in the 48 next year. Eric Jones. In my opinion.
I definitely the leading candidate, but I don't know. I at this point, I've come to expect the unexpected.
Whoever tweets a pen is going to be in it, for sure. New SRX news, and this one actually really did take me by surprise. I was like, man, 2020 is wild. Willie T. Ribs will be in the SRX.
Yeah.
Cool. That one surprised me. I was like, I know that he's been getting more prevalent again. I didn't realize, though, that like it has to be as outspoken as Tony Stewart's like, he has to be here. That had to be a Tony Stewart move right there. Greg Biffle said he's he's open to running full-time in Cup cars again. Please, dear God, be in the 69 car.
Gosh.
Dude, I want him to do the exact same thing that GMS did with the formula that equals 69.
That was pleasant. That
caught me by surprise.
That was good.
Let's see. They've announced some of them so far, but RPM is close to a ton of major announcements according to their team. I might have, said more unprofessionally than they did. To the next page of the lightning round.
They announced a new sponsor, or Bubba did today. Who
Yeah.
was it? It was
Kingsford.
someone today. Kingsford, that's right.
Yeah.
I think it's just a personal deal with him. I don't know if it's necessarily
Yes.
a team deal.
He's got like all the personal like they're all personal deals right now, which is way different for the most part than most NASCAR drivers do it. It's more like what other sports do, like like Michael Jordan or LeBron James with Nike, something like that. Let's see. Yeah, I mean that's actually the next thing on, and then the last thing. A lot of people saw this yesterday. Made it all the way up to the trending tab, and we got the hashtag We Love Lefty. Lefty is Noah Sweet. He's a friend of ours, of all of ours, that we've. If you've been on NASCAR Twitter or Instagram, you've seen his designs. Awesome work, and he's an even better person. Like, and that's no dig at his work because his work is insanely good, and he's just an awesome person all around. He's been going through a lot of crap with a lot of people sending him, horrible messages, death threats, doxing him, messing with his girlfriend, which, doxing and all this stuff is horrible already to do and is just completely off the mark for a person in general, even, public figure, no matter what. But to do that to somebody's girlfriend or friends or family, just, that pisses me off. But I just I love everyone in the chat. Keep it up. The hashtag We Love Lefty. Everyone started tweeting that yesterday, and I love that as many differences as we can all have in the community, the fact that everyone came together behind him was just it was a great change of pace. I mean, I think it hit like 25th on the trending page in America.
That's unbelievable.
Which is awesome, and
that's unbelievable.
So, Noah, I don't know if Noah's probably not watching, but if he is, like, dude, you're a badass, and we have your back 100%. There is a petition right now to have Noah's paint scheme that he made, the Ally Pride scheme, run by Jimmy Johnson. I've already signed it. I've retweeted it. It's on my Twitter. Too. Go ahead and do that, and then respectfully do this. If you're, Ally has their DMs open. If you're gonna send something to them, respectfully send something to them. Just be like, hey, this is like really cool thing. This is, tell them a bit of the story behind the scheme itself. Because Ally has been very open to fans in general, and hearing what fans like. Heck, they even changed their paint scheme mid-season because just to go with what the fans really wanted. So they're an open sponsor, and just spread more positivity, I guess, is the big message here. I don't mean to bring everything down right before we have the Almirola interview. It's just I want to bring attention to that because for someone so good to have so much crap thrown at him that's just absolute garbage. And we're not the only people to talk about this, but it's completely wrong. If you're somebody follows one of us that's gonna send something like that to him over a paint scheme that's not even run on a real car,
it's not real.
Don't even bother, man. If you're gonna be that vile, don't even bother. With trying to be in this community, because we're not about that, man. It's just wrong overall. So I don't know if you guys have anything to say, but just hashtag We Love Lefty. 100% behind Noah.
Exactly.
Dude, like I said, dude's awesome. Work is awesome, and I'm glad that the community appreciates him as much as he should be appreciated.
Lefty,
certainly.
He's about as pleasant of a guy that you'll ever know too. I mean, we've had the pleasure of meeting him at Bristol, and just down to earth, just an amazing dude. He's an amazing designer. I love his work. And honestly, when I saw all this in the last 24 hours, not gonna lie, it hurts. It hurts seeing a good friend of yours, that's somebody that's been so close to the community, just a down to earth guy, just gets harassed, and for absolutely just over this paint scheme. It hurts, So I don't condone trolling. I don't condone bullying. I don't condone harassing at all. I just wish people can grow up a little bit. Let me just say, 2020 has definitely shown the true colors of people for sure. I have never seen so much toxic in this community in my life, and I hope it gets better. And I hope this last 24 hours was a wake up call, and hopefully I mean, it just amazes me that how like everybody like in the community just came together. Even big people in the NASCAR industry just came
MRN, I
together
believe,
and
and
just
Sirius XM both like talked about it
exactly. I
extensively.
saw that. I'm like, wow, this is insane. This is awesome. And we just all need to love each other, come together, and just stop the harassing. Because I mean, I get heat. Jared, I know you've gotten it. Eric's gotten it. Darian, Danny, anybody, we've all gotten it. But it's like, should we? Yes, I know we're supposed to have a thick skin about it. But it's like that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. I mean, it hurts anybody. So thoughts with Noah. He's doing well from last week here, which is good news. I actually, it's pretty cool that his mom has given us updates. Just pretty good news. Hopefully he gets well. He comes back stronger than ever. Noah, buddy, we love you, man. We're very close. Just want you back, man. But take your time. But just know we got your back always. And of course, everybody in the NASCAR community, everybody has each other's backs. Just it like I said, it was heartbreaking, but I'm just glad that everything's good and just love each other. Stop bullying. Stop harassing. That pisses me off.
The one good thing that came out of it at the end is just how many, like, it shows that push comes to shove, like, majority of everybody, we're all behind each other and just from the top to bottom. So that if there's any silver lining, good thing to take out of it, I think it's that we're, when push comes to shove, we all have each other's backs.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's I think that's about
Sums
all
it
I
up.
got to say.
I will always stand up for my friends. Always. Anybody that I know in the community, I stand up for them because I don't like seeing my friends get in some situation like that. I've been through it before, but it hurts even more seeing somebody else that I know personally go through that stuff, and that just pisses me off. So, Noah, praying for you, man. Come back strong, buddy. We miss you, but we love you too, for sure.
I'd say if it, let's get, like you're saying, spread some positivity. What do you think, Eric? We spread a little more positivity. Show a lot of people what they came here to see. Is we got 573 watching. Lick that like button.
Nice.
Let's get 300 likes while we go into the Almirola interview. If you're down with that, man.
Certainly, yeah. So again, some background information. We recorded with Aric Almirola just a few hours ago, earlier this afternoon. Got to talk to him a little bit about, obviously, these upcoming playoffs, Darlington specifically, his season to this point, because he's had quietly a really, really, I don't even know if quietly is the right word, because he ran off that stretch of like 9 straight top tens earlier this summer, but he's had,
solid season,
a very good season, and I think has a chance to make a pretty deep run in the playoffs this year. So we got to talk to Aric Almirola, part of the whole NASCAR playoffs media day. So really cool of him to kind of take a little bit of time out of his busy schedule to join us. So I hope you all enjoy it. I guess, we can roll it whenever you got it set up, Jarrett.
All right. Well, let me just get it set up. We're going to go black screen for maybe like a few seconds and then go right on into it.
Perfect.
All right.
How's it going, y'all? Welcome to this week's show. We are joined by another Aric, although his is spelled a bit differently. Aric Almirola joins us. Aric, I spell mine with an E. You spell yours with an A. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. That's quite remarkable.
Yeah, so funny thing about names is you don't really get to pick it, right?
That's true.
So my mom wanted me to be unique, and unique I am. So
I like it. I mean, it works because you got the A squared in your name. I mean, I think that's one of the coolest logos in motorsports, quite honestly.
Awesome.
But thank you for being here, especially right before the NASCAR playoffs start. Darlington's this weekend. It's a throwback weekend. So many things happening this week. But with the playoffs starting, kind of where's your team at right now, and how do you feel about your chances going into the postseason?
I feel really good. I feel like we have a really good race team. We've performed at a very high level most of the season, and we finished 8th in the regular season point standings. So it gives me a lot of confidence going into the playoffs, knowing that we are a top caliber race team and that we can perform at the level that we need to go far in the rounds. Now to make it all the way to Phoenix to run for a championship, we're going to have to win. And I feel like we're capable of that.
So, you know, we were talking about consistency and how going into the playoffs, you've been sitting 8th in the points. But early in the season, you guys were really struggling at different points. Where did it turn around? Was it just getting better luck? Was it just a flip switched on, or just something that you can't really explain with it?
Yeah, I think it was really just kind of like a switch that flipped when we went to Homestead. You know, before that, we were kind of hit and miss. We'd have a weekend that was good, a weekend that was bad. But then we went to Homestead and ran in the top 5 all night and had a really, really good car. And from that point forward, we have been a very consistent team to where we've kind of been a top 7 or 8 car on any given weekend at any given track. And so for that, you know, I think, that's proven to be real. You know, it's not like one race here, one race there. Like we're really running at that caliber. So, it gives me a lot of confidence going into the playoffs, being that consistent.
You were in the news this past week as well, signing a 1-year extension with SHR. How does that change your approach, if at all, going into the playoffs the rest of this year?
Well, it just makes it to where it's not a distraction. You know, when you're trying to negotiate contracts and renewals and all that stuff, amidst trying to be focused on the playoffs, it's just very distracting. And, you know, you lay in bed at night thinking about, am I going to have a job? Am I not going to have a job? All of those things. And, you know, I've got a wife and 2 kids. So you want that security. So it's nice. It's nice to go into the playoffs with that level of comfort and security, knowing that next year's already taken care of, and you can go just focus on the task at hand, which is, you know, trying to go these next 10 weeks to be a champion.
And actually kind of a follow-up to that, you know, with so much uncertainty still out there because of the pandemic, how has that changed sort of this year for you, kind of being, I guess, a free agent and talking to sponsors and trying to kind of get all that figured out for next year? Like, how has that changed things? Because, I mean, we don't even know the schedule for next year. Like, how has that been more difficult for you?
Well, it's just solidified for me that I've got one of the very best sponsors that anybody could ask for. Smithfield's been amazing to work with, and I'm so grateful to have this partnership. We're going on 10 years of being together, and it's just been incredible for me, both professionally and personally, to be a part of the Smithfield family. So I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for all that they've done for my career and for my family. And the only way I really know how to give back to them is to perform on the racetrack and make sure that their sponsorship logos are front and center on TV when the races are broadcast. So, that's our job, and that's what we're going to go try and do.
So you're talking about, you know, not having to stay up at night thinking about whether you have a job or not. Well, and what consistency level there is just for you personally. I saw, though, that SHR is looking at having is really close to having the same lineup next year that they had this year. How does that consistency both help you individually, your team, and then just the overall organization?
Well, it just makes things, more stable, right? It just, everybody knows everybody. The level of comfort is there. Everybody is, aware of what to expect, and it just makes things more seamless. And, it's, it makes it to where you can focus on the details, and you don't have any sort of really distractions with trying to get, a new person integrated into the system. And it just, I think it makes things just more, seamless, like I said.
And going to these playoffs with no practice, how is that going to change things? We've already seen how it's maybe changed some things in the regular season, but how do you feel about your relationship with your crew chief, and how may that help or hurt your performance, you think, going into the playoffs?
I think it helps us. I think my crew chief, Mike Bogaravich, and our entire team have done a really good job of, showing up to the racetrack with fast race cars. And even in the beginning of the year when we were having practice, we felt like our cars were as best they were throughout the weekend when we got there, and really made minimal changes. So, I think, again, going into these races with no practice, it just shows the strength of a team and an organization. And it's something that, I tip my hat to Stewart Haas Racing. They have done an incredible job navigating this pandemic and done a great job preparing race cars, to go to the racetrack week in and week out that are ready and perfect and fast, right for the drop of the green flag when that's the first time the race car has seen the racetrack.
So, looking at these last 10 races, you guys across the board, Stewart Haas has had speed. But what places do you just have circled, like, I'm going to win here? This is the spot I want to, like, this is going to change my season right here. What tracks coming up are you circling on your calendar?
I think Richmond will be a really good racetrack for us. I've run really well there in the past, but much past that, I'm not really looking that far ahead. That's been my approach the last several years in the playoffs, and that'll be my approach again this year, is that I really just want to focus on 1 week at a time. I don't want to get the cart in front of the horse, so to speak. I'd really like to just focus 1 week at a time, make sure that, all of my attention is going towards getting ready and prepared for Darlington. And then once we get through Darlington, we'll shift gears and get ready for Richmond, and so on down the road. And so, yeah, I try not to get too far ahead of myself, especially during the playoffs. During the regular season, you certainly do that a little bit more. But in the playoffs, really every week is so important that it requires your undivided attention, or at least mine.
Well, you mentioned Darlington. That's where the playoffs start. And you're running a pretty awesome throwback scheme, a throwback to Fireball Roberts. What can you tell us about kind of the decision, or what went behind coming up with that throwback scheme for this year?
Yeah, well, I'm really thankful that Go Bowling let us, decal our Ford Mustang in that throwback scheme to honor Fireball Roberts. I think it's a really cool scheme, and he obviously meant a lot to the sport. He had a lot of success at Darlington, which hopefully that'll bring us some good luck. And then, Fireball was from Florida, which I'm also from Florida, and he played baseball a lot in his early childhood and much of his early life, where I did as well. So we have a lot in common from that aspect, and we just felt like it was a good fit. And it's a cool paint scheme, and it honors somebody that has meant a lot to our sport, kind of paved the way for all of us today. And so hopefully we'll take that cool Go Bowling throwback scheme to victory lane.
So kind of shifting over, we actually have a few fan questions that we'd like to ask you really quick. So starting off from their account's name is Aric10 Joe 89. They're a huge fan of yours. Their profile picture is even your car. Says that if you can redo one race in your NASCAR career, which race would that be and why?
If I could redo one race, it would probably be Dover of 2018. In the playoffs, we led a lot of laps really late in the race. Caution came out really late in the race, maybe 12 or so laps to go, and we pitted and restarted sixth, and I wrecked on the restart trying to get back to the lead, and took our chances away of winning that race in the playoffs, which would have been huge for me and my career, and just winning at Dover would have meant so much to me. I've won a lot of races there in other series, but I've not won in the Cup Series, and I really want that full-size Monster Trophy. So that would have just been a really cool race to win, and I wish I had that one back.
Another one on here says, what one track would you have liked to race at that you never have?
Maybe Rockingham. I think Rockingham was a really cool racetrack. I remember watching races when I first moved to North Carolina. I went to Rockingham and watched some Busch races back then, and watched a few Cup races, and just always felt like that was a very cool racetrack and would have been fun to race at.
A lot of people, I couldn't just pick out one, but a lot of people wanted to ask about what your view now is on the Milwaukee incident in 2007, where you had to get out of the car for Hamlin to come in. Like, what, about almost 15 years removed, what's your view on that incident now?
Well, in life, things happen, right? And I take the view that God has a funny way of working things out. And for me, in that moment, like I was so upset and hurt, disappointed so many negative feelings towards that situation. But as time has gone on, time has healed. Because of that situation, other opportunities presented themselves and ultimately got me to where I'm at today. And so, looking back on it, honestly, I probably wouldn't trade it. A lot of what went down, although I still don't agree with it and don't like it, a lot of what happened, changed the trajectory of my career and my life and led me to where I'm at today.
And then the last fan question on here is from a user on YouTube that asks the important question: do you get free bacon with Smithfield?
Yes, I do. I do get free bacon, guilty as charged. And we do eat a lot of it. And occasionally, when we have a surplus, our neighbors turn out to be very friendly neighbors.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's a great way to end it. Well, thank you so much, Aric, for being on the show this week. We'll be watching out for you this week in that awesome red Go Bowling throwback car at Darlington. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
You too. But are we back?
Yeah, we're back. We're back. I was like,
all
right.
right.
Still muted.
I was worried that might happen. That was fun.
Great interview, guys. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks to Aric Almirola for, like I said, taking time out of his busy schedule. We know he was, a lot of the drivers are doing media stuff all day long. So, yeah, we really appreciate Aric taking some time out of his busy schedule to talk to us. I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you all for tuning in. We still have plenty more to get to on this episode. Remember, we're still giving our picks for not only Darlington, but for the championship and the championship four at the end of this episode. So you're not going to go anywhere. With that being said, Jared, where do we jump off to next?
I actually want to talk a little bit about what Steve Phelps had to say this week about stuff moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So this is according to Matt Weaver and Auto Week. Phelps said, so first off, this year might be into next year here. No infield access until a vaccine has been reached that is widespread. And this goes to anyone who is not instrumental in any way of putting the race on. So no media, no sponsors, no fans, and anyone in between with any of that stuff. Only people who are on teams, broadcast, drivers, NASCAR execs that have to be there. So that's a big one. Then also, likely new facilities will be added to the 2021 schedule that aren't Nashville. So Nashville along with some others. I noticed something he said about the Nashville race. He said it would be June 21st, 2021. Which it might just be like a slip up. He might meant the 20th, but the 21st is a Monday. So,
well, probably meant June 20th. I don't know.
Yeah, because June 20th is Father's Day.
They race on Father's Day usually, don't they?
Every year they do. I think they took one Father's Day weekend off, but it was always Michigan, Sonoma, and Pocono would be Father's Day.
They often end up taking Mother's Day off. That often lands as an off day.
And then let's see, the 2021 schedule will be out in pieces more than likely, depending on how COVID is. But he did say no midweek races.
Yeah, he said it's very unlikely at this point.
Right.
On the totem pole.
Yeah. And then one last thing, the Daytona 500 more than likely will not be postponed unless it absolutely has to be. So
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they've run 2 races at Daytona in the last month. I think they're I think they're fine running at Daytona, but hopefully they're allowed to have a certain number of fans back. But I do want to talk about a couple of good things sort of relating to those comments. The comments of one, that the 2021 schedule may be released in segments. So they might announce the first couple months of the season here before too long, but we may not know the summer schedule until next year. I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about not allowing anyone that isn't essential into the garage area. This is going to make it, we're probably going to talk about it a little bit more later on, but this is going to make it really hard for small Cup Series teams and Xfinity and truck teams to sell sponsorship for next season. This is going to put some teams out of business if this actually remains the case for the majority of next season, because a lot of what these smaller teams, and especially truck and Xfinity teams, what they're selling is the experience. People who sponsor the car, sponsor the truck, want to be able to bring their employees, want to be able to be at the track and get the experience firsthand. And also, if you're running races that don't have fans in the stands consistently, a lot of sponsors, most of their value comes from running in front of full stands and having, maybe you're not shown on TV that much because you're running 35th, but at least 50,000 people are watching you for 3 hours, are seeing your logo and everything like that. And then before the race, you can do driver appearances and things outside the track. But if you don't know the schedule, if you don't know what races are coming up, how are you expected to plan these things months in advance, sometimes years in advance, the way they are, the way this has always been done? I'm just concerned. I understand NASCAR is doing the best they can, and I understand COVID is a widespread issue and is a major issue, and obviously the safety comes first. But this is going to be a problem, and it's not a NASCAR problem. It's a COVID problem. And I mean, we already hear with Germain Racing likely selling or possibly selling this season because Geico's not coming back. I mean, why would Geico come back? Do they ever show Ty Dillon on TV?
We were talking about that actually a few months ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, about it's like the Geico commercial. Why do they have an 82 car, but they don't have
that still annoys me a little bit. Yeah, but
we were saying, what if they're not going to be there in a year or two, and
they're
just preparing moving forward?
Yeah.
But I agree with you, like Aric, on that stuff, and the thing too that's really up in the air is. So they're talking about fast tracking a vaccine. I don't want to get too much into the news because then we start drawing lines. But I'll talk about the essential stuff we have to talk about here. They're talking about fast tracking a vaccine and possibly having it out by like election day, by Christmas. Well, for instance, somebody like Dr. Fauci says that's he doesn't trust that one because I think like the Russians are doing it or something. I don't know all of that stuff. So if, for instance, the government pushes one out and a bunch of people get vaccinated, but the leading health officials don't support it, then what does NASCAR do? Because I think that's a very valid question. Who is NASCAR going to listen to? Just we have a vaccine, let's go, or the health officials who might be against said vaccine? That's the thing that a lot of people are counting down to 2020. I saw a tweet and it was really funny. Like a lot of y'all counting down to 2021, thinking that COVID expires at the end of the year.
It's not.
We just don't know. It could start to fade away by the end of the year if they come out with some sort of treatment or a vaccine that is at least somewhat reliable. We could start to see things close to normal, back to normal early next year. But I just, at this point, I wouldn't count on anything being definite at this point. NASCAR clearly isn't, which is why they haven't released next year's schedule yet, because they don't know how much longer this is going to last. So that's why I'm saying this isn't necessarily a NASCAR's problem. NASCAR is doing the best they can do here with a severe lack of information. This just ultimately is going to eventually come back to hurt the small teams, especially, and I think especially in trucks and Xfinity, who rely on a lot of at-track stuff to sell major sponsorship. TV, a 25th place truck, being shown maybe once on TV getting lapped on FS1 is not going to be able to sell sufficient sponsorship throughout next season to stay in business if that becomes the norm. They need to get fans back at track at some point to keep these teams in business. And I understand that they may not be able to, and there are factors beyond NASCAR's control that might prevent them from doing so. But I just think that's a very well thing to be concerned about. I mean, it's hard to talk about because, like I said, NASCAR can't really do anything. So it's not really a problem with a clear solution right now. It's really just a problem we're talking about. But I mean, it's just certainly something to keep in mind. I think if we start to hear more of these types of stories next year, it's important. I guess it's important to distinguish between what is NASCAR's fault and a flaw in NASCAR's business model versus what's just victim of current circumstances. There's plenty of people out of work, plenty of businesses going under across the country right now. Who really is at fault if this does come into play? And I think it's important to not jump all over NASCAR putting teams out of business when this is really beyond their control at this point.
Yeah, right now NASCAR is just doing everything they can, like to your point, and it's pretty much day by day with them right now. It's not like, there are some things they were able to plan ahead and stuff, but not the usual like we see around this time of year. Around this time of year, next year's schedule have already been out. You already got like who's going to be there next year, like drivers, sponsors already, but it's pretty much day by day up to this point. NASCAR, I give credit to NASCAR a lot for what they've done this year. They're doing the best they can. I think so far, for the most part, it's been pretty good. They've handled this situation pretty well. Higher expectations than I thought when this first came about.
All
but
things
they've
considered, definitely
pretty good. NASCAR is doing the best they can. I think they're doing a pretty good job at it so far.
We knew going in that this was going to be a problem. I just think that it's kind of surprising just how quick into this we've gotten. We're like Levine Family Racing, we know for sure gone. Bob Germain looking at options to sell it. So it may not 100% be gone, but it's not looking too good. And while I don't want to pin it all on NASCAR right now, because I think the current leadership and the current model that this leadership is trying to go with and change to is going to help. I do think that this is the major effect of a flawed business model that the last basically regime of leadership didn't, just turned a blind eye to. I think that this is, everyone doesn't want to, bring up his name like he's Voldemort, but I think this is one of the remnants of Brian France's leadership that is coming up to bite a lot of these mid-pack teams right now. And it shows that, while the sport might be doing better in some areas, and I think like TV, for instance, like we were saying, doing better at bringing fans to the track, and we'll find out in probably a week if anything came from Daytona. If it's like any of the other races that fans were at, no, then nothing happened. So stuff that like the new leadership is having its fingerprints on, for the most part, has been better. But this is one thing where I have to pin it on old NASCAR leadership a lot with that, and this is the remnants, like I said, of Brian France's leadership. Now, changing moving forward, I think is that's what they're moving to and doing better at. But I do think that for the next couple of years, maybe a year or two, I wouldn't be surprised if they go to because Bob Levine and Germain Racing, those two are chartered teams, and a lot of people were saying the charter system, I thought it was supposed to protect people. So we don't know what teams are chartered right now. They'll be fine. I think that you're going to see a lot less competitive teams. I think you'll see probably maybe there might be another team or two that shuts down because of this, or has to downsize because of this, that we're not going to expect. So I wouldn't be surprised if the way like right now that we have like 26 or 27 teams that will be at every race that can compete every now and then. I think you might go down to 20 to 24 in the Cup Series, and I think that's going to be exacerbated a lot in the Xfinity and Truck Series. And I don't know how ARCA is going to do right now. They're already sitting there with only like 2 competitive cars in a field of 12. But it's definitely the most uncertain, especially the fact, and this is the part that worries me, is that NASCAR is going to have these problems because of COVID, and it's heading closer and closer into the time that they need to be negotiating for a new contract. We're currently
TB contract.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. We're currently about 4 years away from the expiration of this current TV contract. I don't know how many people were watching around 2010, 2011. This is right around the time, 3-4 years before, was right around the time negotiations were starting to get serious. And then 2012, 2013, so 2 to 3 years, 2 years to a year before was when they announced it. So there's a lot more on the table right now than I think a lot of fans would like to think about or would want to have on the table right now. I'm just long monologue, almost done. That's one thing, is that the COVID, we're gonna see the fingerprints of the COVID pandemic and lockdowns and everything. We're gonna see the fingerprints on it for a long time and a lot of things. And I think in NASCAR you're gonna see it well into the next TV contract due to all the different changes that had to happen. Maybe in a way it's gotten better for NASCAR. It shows, hey, other sports go down, we go up. I don't know. It's just time. Like, that's the whole thing. A lot of these things, that time is just gonna be the big thing to tell us.
Yeah, I think what you said earlier about I think it's fair. The NASCAR business needs to evolve, and I think you're right. The current leadership understands that. I think it was Freedomator in the chat. I saw it kind of summed it up nicely. I thought is that the business is changing in NASCAR. It just may not be changing quick enough to respond to this unprecedented COVID pandemic. So hopefully most every team makes it through it. Maybe people will scrap together better than I think. But it's a concerning, gonna be the next years. I think 2021 is gonna be concerning, and beyond. It's gonna be concerning even if things, COVID becomes less of a, headlining issue across the globe.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, we got about winding in about half hour, halfway between these, finish and start of the second hour. I guess we could look at one thing that Jenna Fryer said, which is good news here. At least for the 4 drivers and teams and everyone. We talked about it a little bit in the Aric Almirola interview, but SHR is expecting the same lineup from 2020 to be there in 2021. So what are you guys' thoughts on that one?
Pretty good lineup. It's a good lineup. Obviously Harvick, he's hot right now.
Yes.
You know, you got Harvick, you got Boyer. Boyer's been decent. Almirola's been decent. Kurt's been decent. Kurt's been doing, I would say, having a solid year. Same with Almirola.
You mean Cole Custer?
Cole Custer, you're right. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why I was thinking last year. Kurt Busch, I mean, sorry, man.
No, you're good.
Kurt Busch doing well this year, too. Yeah, I was thinking Custer. I'm sorry.
Custer's come on strong in the second half of the season.
Custer has come up strong. Ever since he got that win in Kentucky, he's come up strong. He's having a solid year.
Boyer's come up a little bit, too.
Boyer as well. He's getting a little bit better. And Almirola, solid year. I mean, all the drivers in SHR doing pretty well. I mean, Cole Custer's doing better than what I thought he was going to do prior to this season. And like I said, Almirola and Boyer, I said the last couple of years, they've been solid with the team. And, of course, Harvick. Harvick is just phenomenal. There's no way to get rid of him right now for sure.
No, I think keeping SHR's lineup about the same is smart. I mean, you look at it, they got all 4 of their cars in the playoffs. I don't think any other team got 4 cars in the playoffs. I mean, unless you count Penske with their affiliated team. So, SHR, they have a strong lineup right now. I definitely think Clint Boyer, being older, likely being significantly more expensive than Cole Custer, is probably the only guy I would consider subbing out. And it sounds like they haven't completely closed the door on that. They did mention that Briscoe and maybe even Larson, but specifically Briscoe is still a possibility because it sounds like they do not have a confirmed deal yet with Boyer for next season. So I don't know. I think if they swap Boyer for Briscoe, I don't think they lose much. I don't think they necessarily gain much either, at least not in the short term. I think another rookie in the Cup Series is only going to be kind of, you're going to be trying to speed him up, trying to catch him up the whole time. But eventually I think Briscoe will be ready for a Cup Series. He probably is ready now. He would probably be fine if he ran Cup Series next year. So we'll watch out for that. But certainly it doesn't surprise me to hear them say that they'd like to keep their lineup the same. And they got all their drivers in the playoffs. So that's about as good as it gets.
And one thing about this, because like we were talking about with the whole COVID deal and the way that stuff is not going to be normal to start off 2021. I'm gonna pivot off here and then come back to. I'm gonna pull my own Colin Cowherd deal here.
Boy,
so I listened to this podcast called Score North. It's big Vikings one, and one thing they were talking about going into this season for football was about consistency and having everyone there and just being stable. Stable will help win in the current environment. And I think the same thing holds true with NASCAR. I think that having these people come back, Cole Custer come back for a second year, Clint Boyer, who seems to be getting better as the year goes on, coming back, Aric Almirola, who I think is firmly now the number 2 driver at SHR. I know that for a while people were talking him and Boyer. I think Almirola this year has proved that last year was really just a blip compared, because you look at this year and you look at 2018 and they're about the same. And you can't get rid of Harvick. There's no way you can get rid of Harvick.
No way. No way.
He's arguably the best driver in the sport right now. In the Cup Series, numbers right now show that he is. So I think that's only going to help these guys going into next year. Now, what it does to the end of the year, I don't know. But history has proven for this format from 2017 through last year that being hot early in the season can really help you out, especially if that first or second seed. I'm not saying you're a lock for the Final Four, but it is so much more of an easy walk in there. Instead of everyone sprinting to try and get there, you're just at like a brisk walk. So there's a lot to be said with that.
I agree.
Definitely. So, man, is that the last topic we have before picks, or are we? I don't know how far along we've gone.
I was trying so hard throughout this podcast not to make any mistakes, and I made that one. Like, darn it, I knew it was gonna happen. Like, I knew you guys would look at me weirdly, like, wait, what? Like, I'm like, I screwed up, did I? Yeah, I know. The chat's having fun. Thank God. Joseph Lombard.
Really quick, some people let everyone know to refresh, because for some reason, I know it went black screen on my end.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're fine on.
Interesting.
You're fine on.
Wait, it's just yeah. Oh wait, never mind. It was pause. Yeah. Just refresh people. That's all you need to do.
It's fine where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, because it says it's still streaming. So
Yeah. Really quick, I do want to. There was one super chat I totally forgot to hit on like almost an hour ago. So I hope this guy's even still watching. But from Gavin, thank you, Gavin. The most excited I've been to see a driver win since Dover 2 in 2019. I assume he's talking about the Daytona race, seeing William Byron win. Yeah. Well, thank you for the super chat, Gavin. Glad he's been excited lately.
And then really quick, because I know like some people have this just YouTube has this problem sometimes where it just for some people it doesn't. So it's not like not exactly like just a stream problem because on here there's 0 drop frames whatsoever. It's just a matter of just refresh until it works is basically how it is.
Yeah.
So we apologize for that. As our friendly fly has come back, jerk.
Wow. All right. Enough with the insults. Jeez.
Yeah, my bad. So I guess we got 2 things really, just talking about the playoff grid overall and then picks.
Let's start with the playoff grid.
Yeah.
All right.
So I figured, yeah, you can read off the 16. We're not going to go in round by round because with the 3 of us, that would take a while to go round by round. But we can talk about some surprising, maybe early exits we have, drivers we think are going to make a deep run, and then we'll all give our final 4s at the end.
Okay. So the grid right now, Kevin Harvick leads with 2,057 points. Hamlin with 2,047. Keselowski through 2,029. Logano 2,022. Then you got Chase Elliott in 5th with 2,020. Truex with 2014 in 6th. Blaney with 2013 in 7th. Bowman in 8th with 2009. And then in 9th you have Byron. He has 2007 points so far. There's a tie, a 3-way tie for 10th. Custer, Dillon, and Aric Almirola all with 5 playoff points, which I find really interesting. You look at Aric Almirola, and his are none whatsoever have to do with wins. It's all stage wins and where he was in points. Clint Boyer, 13th, has 4 playoff points. Kyle Busch, 14th, with 3. Kurt Busch, 15th with 1, and after how consistent he's been, that one surprises me. And then Matt DiBenedetto is the only one with 0 playoff points. So that I'm sorry, the Kyle Busch one just surprises me so much. Like going into this season, he was the odds-on favorite for me to win the championship. But I mean, when you look at how last year was, I'm not, it's not as surprising when you look at towards the end of last year, he was starting to fall off. So I guess Joseph, you want to start off? Like, are there any drivers in there that you got having any drivers in there you got having an early exit or any surprises or anything? We'll save our final 4. Wait till Aric gets back in here, and then we'll all give our final 4 picks with it. But anybody surprising you got in here?
Early exits to me, and I'm just looking over through it, and I'm thinking about, okay, who's good at what tracks, who's not, and stuff. So I think my early exits for the round of 16 elimination, Austin Dillon is going to be on. Cole Custer, Kurt Busch, and Matt DiBenedetto are my early exits for the round of 16. Yep.
That's surprising.
I was, but I think Boyer's been good at. See, the round of 16 has Richmond, Bristol, Darlington. Hello.
He keeps wandering in here. He doesn't know he's on camera.
Maybe he knows, but he's just like shining us on and stuff. But yeah, those are. I was between Kurt Busch or Clint Boyer to be one of the early exits, but I think I'm gonna go with Kurt over Clint. So those are my 4.
All right, I'll give some of them. So I was looking through. I don't think there's going to be any real. There's always one, but I don't think there's going to be any like shocking eliminations. Like I'm not sitting here thinking first round Kevin Harvick is going to be taken off. But I mean, I'm looking at the second round here. I think that's where like a lot of the craziness is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think both the Busch brothers are going to get taken out in the second round, especially Vegas, Dega, Roval. I think it's going to be an unhappy day with the with
Both Busch brothers.
Yes, I think both Busch brothers. Now here's a shocking one, and I put this only because he's had problems at a few of the tracks in their wild cards, and he's not been running. While he's running well, not as well as the last couple seasons. I think Truex is going to be out in the round of 12 this year.
Wow, really?
I don't know.
Wow.
That's a new one. I haven't heard that one suggested.
I think we're going to have two shocking people in the Elite Eight, I guess if you call it that, and I think those two would be. I think Aric Almirola still would be surprising to be in that, and I think that Alex Bowman can make it that far.
It makes more to me. It made sense to me. I agree with the Kyle Busch thing. Unless that team steps it up, like it's playoff time, they pull Tony Stewart 2011 whatsoever. Just the consistency and the speed they've had throughout the regular season. I don't see Kyle Busch going to the round of 8. I think the round of 12 is about as far as he goes and stuff. Unless they somehow find some way to pick up some consistency, some good results, some speed. I don't see them going to the round of 8. So I can agree with you on that. The Truex one surprises me.
I think Talladega is going to be the difference.
I can see Truex maybe not going to the championship 4. I can see that, but to the round of 8, man, that's a little surprising to me. But
yeah,
who knows?
I'll agree. Kyle Busch, I think he goes out in the round of 12. I think you look at the races in that round, he has not finished in the top 30 at the Roval yet, and he just broke equipment at the Daytona road course and Talladega. He's never been good at the fall Talladega race especially. So, yeah, I think Kyle Busch, with only one stage win this year, not going to have many playoff points. Good pick, I think, to be out early. I think this is going to be just a rough playoffs for Kyle Busch unless he turns something on overnight. I don't agree with Martin Truex Jr. being out in the second round, but I do think there will be another surprise. And this is a guy I'm riding with him. People are going to hate me in the chat. Get ready for this.
No.
I feel like it's been the story of his season. I think Ryan Blaney goes out in the second round, even though statistically speaking, you could argue those are like his 3 best tracks. With the Roval, he won that obviously in 2018. He's won the last 2 Talladega races, and he almost won the Las Vegas race earlier this year in that round. But I think Ryan Blaney has not run as well the second half of the season as he did the first half of this season. And this pick, while the numbers don't back it up whatsoever, I'm riding with it just because, I don't know, that's been the story of Blaney's season. He runs really well and then often does not get the finishes we think he deserves. So every year there's always that one pick that statistically doesn't make sense but ends up happening. I think this year it's going to be Ryan Blaney. So all you can do is prove me wrong. People in the chat, all you can do is definitely prove me wrong. But this year has been just a story of disappointing results, I think, from
Blaney. I would say Blaney throughout the season has been inconsistent. One week he does well, next week he doesn't. It's just he's had a roller coaster kind of season.
He has championship speed most of the time with 25th place luck.
Yeah, that's exactly. It just something happens to him, and most of it is not because of him either. It's just, he's involved in someone else's mess or like something mechanical goes wrong, whatever, just something. It's just bad luck. I feel he has the speed to even, who knows, has the speed to go all the way to the championship 4, but just the way this season's been, just consistency. Aric, the more I think about it, I kind of agree with you. So man, I want him to go to the round of 8 at least, but I don't know.
Blaney has as good a chance of going to the championship 4 as he does as getting out in the second round. And yes, Danny B's here just in time for all of us to give our championship 4 picks. How you doing tonight, Danny?
Doing good. I was supposed to be here a long time ago, so tell me where I need to start.
Well, we just got through our shocking and exit kind of stuff. So we haven't done the final 4 yet. So kind of, I guess, walk us through, are there any shocking exits or anyone who might be shockingly getting further than we might think they would in the playoffs, in your opinion?
I'll give you 2. One, you shouldn't be surprised, but I've got some good reasons. But Ryan Blaney is going to struggle this first round.
First round? I just said second round. Whoa, I thought that was
Danny.
Bristol is going to bite his butt once again.
Oh boy, it's certainly possible. We'll rule it out.
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
All right, who's that?
And then you got Rich.
And then
you got Richmond in there.
The biggest one is going to be, I don't have him going to championship 4, but I see him surviving the round of 16, and the Roval, I think he's going to win. Bowman will win that when it gets to the round of 8.
I agree with you. I had said that I think Alex Bowman's going to be the biggest shock in the final 8. I
think he can do.
I agree.
I think he can work with his Hendrick teammates, do good at Talladega, maybe contend for the win. But the Roval, I don't see Chase winning that one again. I actually see Alex having the better car.
And he's good at Vegas. And I was looking, he's good at Darlington, and he is not too shabby at all at Bristol. So I honestly think for Bowman to make it into the round of 12, he just needs to have 2 good races. That's it.
Yeah,
he just needs to have 2 good races.
I think he even had a good race other than the incident with Austin Dillon at Richmond last year as well.
I know for a fact that if the podcast luck train keeps working the way that it did with Byron and then Bowman doing better and maybe Almirola, like I just know that for a fact you're gonna be like, he's in the Elite 8. We're about to go to Martinsville. Get him on the show.
Need him on ASAP.
Yep.
So I guess that just leaves our championship 4 and our championship picks. And what I would find funny is if all our championship picks got eliminated in the first round.
Oh my God!
Showing we know nothing about what we talk about.
That's not gonna happen. Two of mine.
Let's just end the season of podcasts early, okay? Because we're done.
I can't imagine that's gonna happen.
We're eliminated.
Crazy picks. Who wants to start?
I'll go with my final 4, but I want to wait and do. I want to still give my final 4s before championship.
Okay, let's go through and do everyone's final 4s. What's yours, Jarrett?
So these two will be no surprise whatsoever. Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin.
Okay.
I think they are like the closest.
Does anybody here not have Harvick Hamlin in their final 4?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Next, go on.
Predictability.
Just say you're at 2.
Brad Keselowski. I think that he's the only one who's shown that he can, well, not consistently, semi-consistently keep up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this last one might be popular with some people, but it might be unpopular with others, especially for how inconsistent he's been. But screw it, I'm gonna say Chase Elliott. I think Chase Elliott will be, and especially going to Phoenix, he's gonna make it interesting. But I just think that I'm looking at that last round. He's good at Kansas. I think he's gonna I don't think there's a doubt unless something happens in that second round.
He's been good at Martinsville as of recently.
That second round is the big one right there. I think that's the most treacherous of any of the rounds.
I agree.
Because Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol, I think, are more drivers' tracks. You have a lot more control, and I think the same thing goes for Kansas, Texas, and Martinsville. And Kansas and Martinsville especially, I'm looking at Chase Elliott right there, especially Kansas. He's shown a lot of speed there in the past couple of years. So I think he's going to make it, and then if he makes it, he's going to be I think he'll be a contender. If
the only race I feel is going to hurt for Chase is Texas in that round because he hasn't been running pretty well there as of recently. So I think that's the only race that's going to hurt him. So if he does not perform well at Martinsville or Kansas and stuff, then it just kind of like honestly like looking at it last season too, it's gonna hurt. So but.
So
as long as they make it into that round, they need to have Kansas and Martinsville circled. They have to win that.
Yep.
So just to reiterate, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott. That's my final 4 pick.
I've got Harvick, Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, and I have Martin Truex Jr. just because right now he's finished in the top 4 in 8 straight races beginning these playoffs. And while his crew chief may be new to him, he was the lead engineer under Cole Pern for many years, and he and Truex still have a strong relationship. So I think that's going to be important. I think Truex sneaks in, even though he doesn't have quite as many playoff points as some of the other guys.
Truex got that win at Martinsville earlier this year. He's been pretty good at Martinsville in the last couple of seasons as well. So that's probably a good pick. Okay, Harvick and Hamlin. Okay, easy. Man, Brad Keselowski. And I'm going to have to agree with Jared, too, Chase Elliott. Just based off Kansas and Martinsville, he's been strong there last couple of seasons. Great performances. The only race I'm concerned about that round is Texas. That's the only race. But those 4, my picks. But Chase Elliott, I feel, can finally go to the championship 4.
Imagine the storyline if Chase Elliott had to win at Martinsville, wins there, and wins 2 weeks in a row to win it, just like how Harvick had to in 2014. Just imagine that storyline.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Okay, I've got, obviously, Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin, and then I also have Chase Elliott because I see him winning Martinsville, and he's going to win at Bristol, and from there, top 5 his way to the championship 4 Kyle Busch.
You're pretty much almost pulling a Tony Stewart kind of move.
He's surviving the round of 16 by winning at his favorite track, and he's going to Ryan Newman it the rest of the way.
That's hard to do with how few playoff points he's got, but
right. Oh shit!
All right,
See, you and me are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum because until he proves otherwise, when it comes to Kyle Busch, like honest God, I think Kyle Busch is gonna go winless this year. Like he's just not like until he proves otherwise, I think he is.
It's crazy to think.
As much as I respect the driver Kyle Busch is, wouldn't that be amazing though if he went and he like won the championship?
I'm not doubting the guy. I've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah,
we saw Ryan Newman in 2014. That's crazy enough.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's 2020. You know, crazy things gonna happen. You know,
Matt Crafton won last year with 0 wins.
I would not be at this point of 2020. I'm not surprised that somebody finds a loophole in anything in NASCAR right now, especially in the playoffs. Seriously.
So I guess that leaves our championship picks.
Oh Jesus, Phoenix, huh?
Jesus, Phoenix.
And look, no. What I mean by there's a few drivers in the playoffs that's really good at Phoenix that I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be an interesting race.
If my championship 4 is who I say it is, all 4 will be the top 4 cars, but just who's going to win it?
All right, I'll just start. I'm going with Kevin Harvick. The dude's obviously a 9-time winner at Phoenix. I know he hasn't won in a couple of years. I do think it's worth pointing out that Harvick and Hamlin combined have won 13 races this year, but only 2 of them, 1 each, have come with the 750 horsepower package, and they were both at Dover, which is a completely different track than Phoenix. So keep that in mind. Truex has a win this year with the 750 package. Keselowski has 2. Other drivers as well have some. So keep an eye on them if they make it in. It may not be a lock for Harvick and Hamlin, but I'm betting with Kevin Harvick this time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go second. This guy's been having what is arguably his best season so far. He, in my opinion, is due for a championship. I think Denny Hamlin breaks the curse. I think that it's going to be between him and Harvick at the end of the year. And Harvick, a lot of the times, has been winning a lot of these duels between the two of them. I think that he gets him at the end of the year. Phoenix is both of them is one of their best tracks. But I'm going Denny on this one. I think he has more momentum right now. I think Harvick is starting to slip up a little bit down the stretch.
I mean, those two are going to be fun to watch at Phoenix when it comes down to it because Harvick's been unbelievable there. 9 wins there. Hamlin's starting to win over there. He's been strong. That battle is going to be so much fun. I say, if let's say Logano makes it to the championship 4, that he's going to be great. That's going to be fun. Chase Elliott, if he makes the championship 4, I'd say if those 4 drivers makes it, that's going to be fun. But I tell you, Harvick or Hamlin, I'm between one of those 2. But you know what? I mean, I think it'd be cool to see Hamlin get his first championship, but I still think Harvick is going to outrun him it's going to be close, but I think Harvick is going to edge him out for the championship this year. He's get his 10th win at Phoenix, lock up the championship there, his 2nd championship. So I'm going with Harvick. I mean, it was hard for me to pick between Hamlin and Harvick, but I just have to go with Harvick just because of how good he is there.
And I am also going to say that Denny Hamlin will be the winner. I think if it's that scenario, I think it just works out better in his favor to finally do it.
So we are just like the chat right now, split right down the middle on Hamlin.
We are split. Yeah. Wow.
Now watch Matt.
However, yeah. I mean, theoretically, win Bristol, win Talladega, win Martinsville.
That's a lot of wins. You say it like it's easy, but
yeah.
It's easy, Matt. Go do it.
Yeah, just go be top of that pylon when it's all said and done. Yeah, well, I mean, the playoffs have to start somewhere. So do we want to wrap up tonight's show with our Darlington picks for the throwback race this weekend? We'll start with our our Who's Gonna Suck pick this weekend. We'll start with the guest, I guess, this week, Joseph. Who do you think is going to have a rough go of it Sunday night?
If we're talking about a driver in the playoffs that's going to have a rough
It can be
go.
anyone. But
yeah, I know. But I'm going to go with the playoff driver. Just, man, honestly, man, this is going to be Blaney.
Blaney, all right. Okay.
Blaney. I'm sorry, Blaney. I like the guy, but
I'll go second just because I'm going to agree with him because I do have him going out in this round. I am going to also say Blaney. He's going to suck.
And I'm looking at I'm going to take the chat consensus too when we go through all this. But I'll go next. I'm not going to pick Blaney, but I will pick a playoff driver. This driver's last 2 races here that were this past year were 22nd and 31st. It's his only 2 races. I'm going Cole Custer. Even though he's starting to get faster, I think Cole Custer is not going to be doing so hot in this race, and I think it's going to be the start of his early exit.
Yeah, stole my pick, Cole Custer. Maybe it's low-hanging fruit because he is got the worst numbers of all the playoff 16 this year. But you're right. You outside the top 20 both races earlier this year at Darlington, I think Cole Custer has another just rough start to the playoffs.
Right down the middle again. We are on the roll right now.
Wow, we are.
We're splitting everything. All right, well,
balance.
maybe we'll change that. Who's going, as all things should be. Let's go to the underdog picks, our dark horses. Do we want to go in the same order?
Sure.
Yeah, I was first. Okay. Matt DiBenedetto. My dark horse.
Okay.
My underdog, I'm going to say, since he's only got 10 more races left with this team, and he won it last year, let's say Erik Jones. He needs to go out and try to have another good run. Maybe he can contend for another win. That doesn't matter, but maybe he can try.
So I'm looking at the chat right now, and their underdog pick. I mean, there's a lot of them, but it's looking like DiBenedetto is got at least a plurality of the chat on his side. So I'm going to go DiBenedetto there. But no, my pick is a playoff driver, but he's not one that a lot of people think about, really in general. And he has a really good track record here. I was looking at his last 5 races here. 5 starts, a top 5, 2 top 10s, a 12.2 average finish, and his range of finish is usually between 4th and 20th, which a lot of people think is big. But that 4th is really what stands out because that came more from speed. I'm going Austin Dillon. I think Austin Dillon and that RCR team have the speed here, and I think that we have 3 Darlington races this year. I think that of any of them, this is probably going to be the best chance he has to get the win. So I'm going to go my dark horse pick, Austin Dillon.
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to go with a non-playoff driver. I'm going to go with Jimmy Johnson. I think Jimmy Johnson's going to go for broke. He doesn't have to race for points anymore. He can just go for the win. And this was a track earlier this year. He was leading, right? When he made a mistake and took himself out of contention. So I think a real good shot at a win possibly, but definitely top 5 speed from Jimmy Johnson. He's been pretty good the last few weeks.
Hearing that's kind of interesting. I'll leave my name, but I think there was a certain associate with folks at NASCAR. He seems to believe he's going to go for at least 4 wins during this playoff run. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Wow.
I mean, I think he's going to go for 10. I think he's going to get maybe 1 if he's lucky, but no.
It's got 10 more opportunities to go for some wins. So
I hope Jimmy gets a win in these playoffs.
I really do. I want to see one more time. Right?
I've never seen him win. I want to see Jimmy Johnson win.
Wow. I've seen him win like 5 or 6 times.
I've seen everyone
California.
I went to Fall, Texas.
I've seen him win
3 years.
I've seen him win 1 time, Bristol 2017.
I've seen everyone from Kyle Busch to Casey Kane to Tony Stewart, Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon. I have not seen Jimmy Johnson win, and I want to so bad.
What's the most obscure driver everyone here has seen win in person?
I saw Justin.
That's a good one.
Oh,
I saw Justin Allgaier get his first win.
Oh, there you go.
Honestly, this is between Austin Dillon or Ricky Stenhouse, just obscured, or with Ryan Newman, Phoenix 2017.
I saw Aric Almirola's first win, even though it was technically range short.
Pretty much 2017 was pre-obscured with me.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Well, perfect. So now let's move on to who's going to win this week. Who's everybody's win pick for Darlington? Win.
Who's gonna
win?
Win. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Who's gonna
win?
How do you spell that?
WEIN.
Oh, okay. I was going to go with WIN. Oh, no,
All right.
WYN.
I put it in there. We're going win.
Win.
Let's see. I see a lot of Hamlins, Byrons. Hey, we even got a Matt Kenseth in the chat. But who else?
Right.
Ran 10th here early in the year.
He did.
What's funny though is you gotta think back. Both of those races were won by who?
All right.
Yeah.
So win. Okay. Gee. He honestly should have won the second Darlington race if afterwards the bird came out. Chase Elliott is going to win Darlington. He had good speed honestly both Darlington races, especially the second one. If it was for Kyle Busch with the horrible misjudge, that was bad. Yeah. But I think he should have won that race. So I'm gonna go with. I think Chase Elliott's gonna get redemption at Darlington this Sunday night. So he's my pick to win.
I could say that's a pretty good pick. I'm not gonna say he's gonna win. I'll say a top 5. Jarrett wants me to say Alex Bowman because of the second place earlier this year, but I'm not gonna say that either. I say another top 5 for him, but I'm gonna say Kevin Harvick.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So I'm looking at the chat, and the chat is like completely split. It's
I know.
Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski I'm seeing the most.
Or Michael McDowell, Ryan Newman,
Okay,
Ryan Preece.
I'm going with the serious picks. I don't know. I don't have a coin. Does anyone have a coin to flip? Heads for Keselowski, tails for Hamlin. Anyone got a coin somewhere? Honestly, that's what I want to do.
You could flip a coin on the phone, but
I mean, I'm seeing
here. Rock, paper, scissors, Jared.
All right,
here we go.
Right, if you win, it's Hamlin. If you win, you pick Hamlin. Okay. On 3, how do we do this?
Yeah, okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Rock, paper, scissors. Shoot. I don't know.
You said 1, 2, 3. Rock, paper, scissors.
No, like 1, 2, 3. Let's start. What?
Okay, never mind.
How about this? I got a better idea. I'm doing this on my phone, so I can flip my phone up, and if it lands where it's darkness, then that's gonna be Keselowski. If it lands where it's the ceiling, then that's
do
it.
It's so crazy. Just do it.
All right. So darkness for Keselowski and the ceiling for who?
Hamlin.
All right, here we go.
This is gonna be funny. Keselowski it is. Chat, you pick Brad Keselowski.
That's great.
All right. So.
All right. So, well, my driver was one of those picks. So I was looking at the last 5 because I think that's more relevant than anything else. My God, this is going off track. So my pick in his last 5 races, he has 4 top 10s, 3 top 5s. And he's the only driver in the last 5 to win more than once at Darlington with 2 wins. And he was also the last driver to win there. I'm going Denny Hamlin. I'm a Hamlin sympathizer this week and last week. I probably won't be. Oh, actually, I could be the next week and seeing it to Richmond. But I'm going Denny on this one. He's my championship pick, and it starts here.
I just want to say real quick, I'm going to say this once again. I say it all the time. This is what NASCAR wants.
And he'd be throwing his phone to the side. Who's going to win?
Yeah, exactly.
We should have talked about the truck race. Yeah, Norm Benning is definitely going to go for and get a win. Norm for the win. Never lift.
Right on.
Aric, who you got, man?
I was gonna pick Hamlin, but I want to be a little bit different than that, man. I mean, Hamlin was so good there in the beginning of the year. It's hard not to pick Hamlin. Chase was fast in that second race. Johnson was fast as well. Kyle Busch ended up second after the Chase Elliott incident, but I don't see Kyle Busch breaking through getting a win. It's hard really not to go with Denny Hamlin. I'm just going to go with Hamlin because I don't have another clear pick. Maybe Truex, but he hasn't won on an intermediate yet this year, so I wouldn't go with him either. So I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin as well.
No, I didn't bring him up.
Disappoint everyone.
I didn't bring him up. I brought Austin Dillon up instead, and I know he was my underdog pick last year here. Ryan Newman doesn't have a bad track record here. But he's not that bad at Darlington. So
I mean, he might get a top 10, maybe a top 5. He's not win.
I'm just saying, like, if you're on the lead lap at the end of these races anymore, like, you got a shot to win, especially with the craziness that can happen. So
keep in mind, this is going to be a longer race. The 2 races in May were like 300 miles each. This is going to be the traditional 500 miles.
So you're pretty much doubling, yeah.
Yeah, so you might see teams and drivers who are better at keeping up with the track over time might bubble to the top, which is why I just think it lends itself even better to guys like Hamlin and who've dominated this year. But yeah. All right. Well, there you go. There's our picks. Have we run it? There's the Tonight Show run its course? Are we?
I think we have. I guess we can talk next week. We're going to be hopefully tentatively on a Wednesday, unless we have another guest you'll have to watch through the week.
Yes.
We're working on some people, so keep an eye out on our Twitter and Instagrams. But it's tentatively September 9th. Danny, you're hosting. What's the significance of September 9th?
Jeez. How about my 25th anniversary around the sun?
Woohoo!
My birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
A very complicated way of saying that. Yes.
So yeah,
that's gonna be fun. Birthday stream on Danny B's channel.
Right on.
25. I'll be 25. That's crazy.
I'm 27. It's okay. I'm old. It's all right.
They get easier.
22 for the win.
Wait,
Hey, that means at 25, my cost of insurance can go down, and I don't have to pay a young renter's fee to rent a car.
That's the best thing about 25, right?
Yo,
the insurance
25,
goes down. Yes.
Underrated, man. All right. Well, there you go. Well, we look forward to seeing all of you there. We can all wish Danny B a happy birthday in person. Really quick before we go, I do want to get through these final few super chats. We really appreciate your support tonight. From Skid, Ryan Blaney's 2018 Roval win was a fluke, just being honest. I don't entirely disagree, but he still ran well in that race. Carl Singleton, thanks for the super chat. Bold prediction, Harvick and Hamlin screwed each other out of the championship in the last race by wrecking each other. We've seen late race crashes up front at Phoenix before. Think back to 2016 when Bowman and Kenseth got together.
The way 2020 is, you never know.
Where else we got? Dustin Thatcher, thank you for the super chat. Martin Truex Jr. last fall at Richmond. I think maybe he's talking about when we were talking about drivers we've seen win in person recently. I think that maybe is what that's relating to. I'm sorry, I didn't get it right as it happened. Apologies for that. And then from Irvin, actually a couple more. Irvin Alvarado, thanks to the super chat. Irvin, longer race might be different kind of racing. Those back-to-back races were short, like we were talking about. And setups have to be on point as track changes plus power. It's basically exactly what I said a few minutes ago. But yeah, I know, completely agree. The Southern 500 this weekend is going to look very different, I think, from the first two Darlington races this year. And lastly, again from Dustin, his major dark horse is Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch could have a really strong run this weekend as well. But thank you all for your comments, for your super chats, for the support. And thank you to all. We had 400, 500, almost 600 people watching pretty much all night long. So thank you all for tuning in. Any last thing? Joseph, thanks for being here. We got your channel and your Twitter down in the description below, but where else can people find you?
Obviously a YouTube channel, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm all over the place, Twitch. So just find me there if you want to keep up with my content or any posts I make. But I do want to thank you guys for having me on. Danny, hopefully I made you proud, substituting for you for a little bit.
You were a good substitute, Danny. I was just, as you can tell, I'm not in the best setting to have done the whole show here, but I just wanted to at least be a part of the picks tonight.
Absolutely. But I always appreciate you guys having me part of the podcast every now and then. And if you ever need substitutions again, hit me up because it's been fun. But other than that, always a pleasure to be on. And whenever you guys want me on, I'll be up for it. So, but thank guys for those in chat for always supporting me, but supporting the weekly podcast every week. You guys are the best. And hopefully, man, 10 weeks now, playoffs, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
Wait, we only have 10 episodes left this
year. 10 episodes. That's what I'm saying. It's like you got 10 more. It's going to be a buzz. It's going to be a buzz.
Last thing I want to say before anything. Danny, what's funnier than 24?
Let me hear it.
25.
25. This is what NASCAR wants.
We are children.
Oh God.
Anyways, though, you can catch us live next week on my channel, Danny B Talks. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode.
Yep, we'll be making plenty more SpongeBob references throughout the show. I can assure you. But thank you everyone for tuning in. That's all we've got. We'll see you at Danny's channel, hopefully Wednesday, but keep an eye on our social medias. Hopefully you don't have to change it. We'll be announcing guests hopefully very soon. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. We'll see you real soon.
Yeah,
have a
great
great night.
Guys.
I love that they're muted and I'm not. Bye.